This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, Barbenheimer happens.
What?
Oh, yeah. We've got reviews for both Barbie and Oppenheimer. Plus, we got Hollywood strike updates and reactions to new trailers for the Marvels, Invincible Season 2, Gen V, The Boys spinoff show, Ahsoka, and more. All in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, July 24th, 2023.
Oh, hi, I didn't hear you come in. This is Ross Marquand from The Walking Dead, and you're listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. Now, if somebody could please explain to me what a geek boner is, my life would be complete. Until then, rock on, nation.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. Jock it, we nerd it. We funny, disturb it. We jock it, we nerd it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
Hey, what's up, listener? How's it going? Thank you for pressing play, and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
And joining us, oh boy, it's a guy who fully embraces the Barbenheimer lifestyle, meaning he likes to wear pink and blow things up. Welcome back, Rug Boy. How's it going?
What's up, everybody? Here I am, motherfuckers. In the fucking felt.
How's Andrew Tate doing in Romania?
You want to know what the real deal is? So, I don't know if you know this, listener, but part of my origin story starts in Romania.
It does.
Right? This is how the reason why I'm a felty. I was cursed by a gypsy lady in utero. My mom pissed off a gypsy lady. So anyway, I found this opportunity to go to Romania through Andrew Tate. I just used him because I'm trying to find the gypsy lady or some relative of hers that can undo this curse so I can get laid like a normal person. Like, again, not be a felty. But what I discovered is Andrew Tate's a pretty big piece of shit. So I got the fuck up out of there. And instead of like hanging out with Andrew Tate, I just went to like a much nicer person. I went to the Vladimir Tepes castle and just hung out there. It's a good
what
time.
Just happened?
Yeah.
What did he just say?
No, it's just like American Tail. He's searching for his family.
Well, instead of a guy who, human trafficked women, like I hung out with a guy who shoved like stakes through a guy's buttholes.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Oh, and there we get to our
wow. And that's a perfect segue to
reverse
talk about the
dick
news.
joke. Yes. Okay. We're glad to have you back, Ruggs. I think a lot of the listeners missed you.
Was that a hot enough take? A good open for you?
That's a good hot take.
All right.
And we lost every listener we ever had.
Everyone has now just completely gone.
Great mental
by the
image.
wayside.
Andrew Tate's whatever. Wait.
Thank you. We appreciate all you new listeners for tuning in.
Made
if you're still
accusations.
around.
Our lawyers will be in touch. Thank you.
Yes, there'll be the lawsuits in the mail. No, look, before we start, I just want to issue the reminder again one last time that I made at the beginning of last week's show. Listener, if you are listening to this podcast on the Stitcher app, you have 1 month to find yourself a new podcast app to listen to.
Oh, shit.
Stitcher is shutting down August 29th. And I checked the stats. We're getting some downloads from the Stitcher. So, here's your warning. Maybe your last warning. Otherwise, the show's just going to go
What do
away.
you suggest that they use?
We are on every other listening app from Apple Podcasts to Spotify to you can download any podcast app. You'll find it in there. I use Downcast. Overcast is a good one.
Podcast Addict is what I use.
Podcast Addict is also a good one. You can stream it from the website.
Sandblast.
We're on Google Podcasts. The feed's a little screwed up. It will be fixed, but you can find us there. But go to our website, jockandnerd.com. There's a little drop down. It has all the places you can listen to. So, look, Stitcher was around 15 years. It's going away. These things happen.
Twitter is becoming X.
Yes,
so,
Twitter is just suddenly X now without any fanfare. I was very confused. What the fuck, Elon Musk? And then the last thing, Ruggs, quick comment. We are approaching our 500th episode.
Geek boner.
Comment?
Wow, that's a lot. Are we doing anything for that? I think I heard you guys talking about something.
You want me to explain?
Yeah, real quick. Tell them again.
Well, tentatively, We're doing Blue Beetle. No, well, we are doing Blue
We're
Beetle.
reviewing
but
Blue Beetle.
we
Isn't
are reviewing
everyone?
Blue Beetle, but we're also going to do our last 40 years action tournament finale.
So we're going to take all the results and then throw in the foreign films that we left out.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be 16 movies. So
Nice.
4 from the 21st century, 4 from the 90s, 4 from the 80s. Basically taking the last 4 from each tournament and then putting in the 4 that you and Bilotti put heads together on. 2 from the 80s, 2 from the 90s that are foreign, and we'll throw those in, and I'll create all the matchups, and we'll have some fun.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Belay and I have it figured out already. It just needs to be written down.
Right on.
Yeah, just put it in right in one of you two at some point.
So we will
before the 500th episode, so me and Imran know what to watch.
We will do that. We will watch those. And I would like to encourage the listener, you want to send a nice message. Maybe you got some questions for us. Email show@jockandnerd.com or on Facebook, or send a voicemail. We'd love to hear from you and hear people say shitty things about us celebrating 500 episodes. That's my favorite thing. Okay, let's get into the news, you bastards.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
Hollywood strike update. The writers have now been on strike for 13 weeks. It's week 13 of the writer's strike. About a week, 1.5 for the actor's strike, as they started on a Friday. Ruggs, we never got your hot take on this. Were you surprised? How crazy is this to you that everything is halted? And
No, they have to, because technology has changed and it fucked up. Look, if you can remember far back as the 90s, the music industry, before digital was a thing.
Sure.
Like, you'll know that the whole entire industry kind of collapsed. And now, like, people who...
Were you talking about, like, Napster when that all came out?
Yeah,
MP3s. Yeah.
So, like, this is basically, like, another one of those, like, inflection points where you have to, like, there's a huge, catalyst that's about to, like, change everything. And you have to... It's already changing everything. And you have to get on top of it. And they have to now fight for rights that will protect them into the future, hopefully. So, I completely support the actors. They're going to get hosed, because at the end of the day, these studios are not spending money on new shows. And even though they look bad because they're not putting anything out, they're still saving shitloads of money.
While there's a strike on, right?
So it's not really hurting them.
Yeah, they kind of
it's hurting. When it starts hurting them in the stock market and their shareholders start getting pissed off, then they'll start to fucking bend over and lube up their buttholes. But, like, at this point, their buttholes are as dry as the desert right now.
Well, they have a little bit of a runaway, but it'll dry up, because there's going to come a point where there's not any new content anymore.
Yeah. They got a while, because they're insulated, because they do that stuff so far ahead of time and they roll these things out so late. So they do have a runway. So they have a lot of time. So, like, the question is, can they hold out more than the actors?
Exactly. It is a waiting game now, right? This war is now, can they wait the actors and writers out until they're homeless, or until the studio stock starts
What
to
do you
take
think is going to happen with the actors, though? Do you think that they're going to be like, no, we're doing the right thing and we're going to go down with the ship to get the right thing?
I think both the actors and the writers have already been sticking it out for a bit now.
Yeah.
I think they're fed up. I think they're gonna ride it out as long as possible and bleed these guys until something changes.
I think if you have money, I don't really know if these charities that donate to these actors and stuff, funds, really give them the money, but I feel like if they did, like, I would invest in that, because I want to personally see the actors win on this.
I think there's something you can donate to SAG.
I'm always about the artists, because I know that these corporations in these studios, they have shitloads of money all the time.
Oh, yeah.
They always pretend like they don't have money. Yeah. I know this from personal experience. They always act like they don't have money until they do.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, so it is a war out there. And regarding content, the one strategy the studios can take is pushing shit back. And I saw this article, Warner Brothers is considering pushing Dune 2 and Aquaman 2 to next year, because I at this rate, the way they're waiting, I don't think this thing ends until October,
Why
November.
would they push it back, though? They're just
because you cannot promote the thing without actors. They they need promotion marketing time. The same reason they gave him the 12-day extension for the actors to negotiate, even though the studios did not negotiate. They just wanted to premiere Barbie and Oppenheimer and get their promotions out for their big movies. So any time that they can buy. But yeah, on the other hand, they're saving a lot of money right now, not doing anything, which is it's kind of crazy. Here's something I learned. This may
Do you think it's bad that they're having a phenomenal opening weekend?
Well, that
and
is also
happening?
This is a very weird, huge box office weekend during a huge historic labor strike in Hollywood. It's wild. It's wild. All of this is wild.
It makes no sense.
Everything happening right now is so crazy and unprecedented. We are living in great times.
Well, I'll say this: it's while it is awesome that this is happening in terms of the box office,
it's bad for them.
Well, it's going to be bad though for the theaters very soon because you have this wave now where the theaters have been disappointed with a lot of the big releases. You get a fucking awesome wave here, and there's only so much runway with these movies that are coming out. And any of the learnings that you can take from this past weekend in terms of like original, new ideas, new IP, non-superhero, none of that can be developed right now.
Yeah, even the marketing of
so any momentum
movies,
you have. Unless these guys get back in their seats and negotiate, it's all going to go away real quick.
Yeah, the theaters need to milk this shit as much as they can right now to ride out the dry spell that's coming. There is some studios that still get to make movies. I did not know this. The studio A24, that's had a bunch of hits lately, horror films, everything, everywhere, all at once. They are not a member of the AMPTP. Meaning the SAG can give waivers to actors to still continue to work on A24 movies. So good for A24 and possibly other indies.
Cool.
Wait, why does that? Explain that again?
A24 is not a member of the organization that they are striking against, meaning the AMPTP, the collection
basically,
of studios.
like A24.
It's independent-ish.
They're independent, and they basically come up with their own deal per person.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So it's not like there's no industry standard for them, like, which is good or bad. Like, because like if you work for the guild, right, you get like a standard paycheck for showing up for a day. You get paid X amount of dollars.
Right.
They might undercut them. Who knows?
100%. And in those situations, while it's cool that A24 does that, there are plenty of examples in sport where if you don't have a union, they actually, because you don't know what everyone's making, that actually lowers your pay.
Oh.
Because no one knows what anyone's making, so then you're basically negotiating against yourself, and you have no leverage actually at that point.
Whoa,
Pretty
that's
much.
crazy.
But like the way that I see it though is if you're doing an independent studio, you already know you're not getting the money you should be getting. Like
you're doing that
like, for example, if like De Niro like slums it on an A24 film, he's not going to get money. He's doing it for prestige or because he likes the project or he knows the director or whatever. Someone fingered his butthole. Like
Roman Polanski back in 2020-21 was a big A24 guy.
They make great shit.
Throw that out there.
They make great shit.
I'm not an A24 guy anymore.
I have nothing against A24.
No, but I also heard that they have to, if they have like using actors who are in SAG, they have to work according to the proposed SAG rules, like the newly proposal. They kind of have to follow those rules if they're going to allow them to continue shooting A24 or something. But I thought that was interesting. Anyways.
Well, good for them. There's still something to do.
Here's another weird effect of this whole thing. And this happened before the strike, but this weekend, we just had San Diego Comic-Con. Holy shit, right? Big fucking huge convention. Kind of not a lot of buzz as in usual past years, as studios had already dropped out of Hall H. And then with this actor strike, no celebrities, no panels, no interviews. I was looking on Twitter when it was called Twitter, not X, at photos and like what was going on there. And it just seemed like it was all about the comics. And then there was a shot at Hall H and there was maybe like 15 people sitting in there, no lines. But you guys, normally this would be our big San Diego Comic-Con wrap up where we'd have tons of teasers and trailers. It's kind of strange. The past 8 years.
It's bittersweet. It's bittersweet because like, on one hand, yeah, you don't want all the sycophants going in there and like all these like fake fans. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. I'm drunk right now, so it's okay.
Speak your
This
truth.
fucking look. Let's be real. There's just people there for pop culture,
Right.
not comics.
Right.
We know this. It's not like a lie. We all know this. So on one hand, I feel like it's a victory for comics, but at the same time, we all know one hand washes the other. So,
Well, I had a buddy out there.
Oh, really?
He was on my spinoff show, Chris Sotelo.
Oh, Sotelo out there. Nice.
He was out there. Yeah, he was out there Thursday and Sunday, and he had a blast. So
yeah.
Oh,
take
that's
that
great.
for what it's worth. Bought a lot of different merch and had fun just looking at all the stuff and not having to wait in line for Hall H. So
I mean,
he had a good
I
time.
bet it was great. There was elbow room, not as crowded, probably. Maybe it was, but
Well, I think it was probably as crowded. It's just the Hall H thing wasn't.
Yeah,
the big panels weren't there.
yeah, they were doing like video game stuff, like Spider-Man 2 game had stuff, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animation. But we did have trailers and teasers come out, so it is bittersweet that we don't get the big SDCC. But the whole industry is in a crazy place right now. So we do have a bunch of trailers to discuss. Let's warm up before we get to the two big crazy reviews. First one, the Marvels put out a new trailer. Anthony, let's start with you.
Yes.
What did we see in here? Some interesting details. What did you think of this trailer? And does this do anything for you?
It was aight. It wasn't bad. I don't know how this movie's going to do in the box office, but as far as this trailer itself, you know, it kind of continued the theme of. I mean, they weren't they using Intergalactic a little again?
Yes, the Beastie Boys
Yeah.
song returns in like a slower, broken down.
Don't
thing.
you tell me to smile.
That's right. Don't
Still
tell
there.
Don't tell her to smile.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we'll see. I was Mr. MCU before Phase 4, and I've definitely very much cooled off on the MCU
Yeah, I mean,
because of their own doing.
Yeah.
So you're taking one. I mean, let's just frame it the way it needs to be framed. You're taking probably one of the more unpopular characters they have, Captain Marvel, and you're pairing her up with two characters that debuted in TV shows on Disney Plus. One of which, Imran's favorite, got the lowest viewing
Yes.
out of anything.
You gotta watch that show.
So, I mean, if you're just looking at this objectively, you have an unpopular character pairing up with two characters that a lot of people haven't seen. I don't know if that makes a recipe for a box office smash unless they're going to replay the whole feminist angle again. And I think they played that card the first time. I don't know how, you know, you might be able to do it again. And the first one made money, but
Need $1 billion.
yeah, I don't know. It did make a lot of money. Also had a very so unpopular that they decided to make her sequel,
Yes.
The Marvels,
Yes.
instead of Captain Marvel
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
No. So
I
that's my
do
thought.
think that Captain Marvel is acting a little differently in these trailers.
She's smiling.
What do you mean? How's she acting?
She's
different,
not
Greg?
scowling the
No.
whole time. She seems to be a little bit more like, instead of like full of herself, she's kind of like more like, okay, like whatever, like, you know.
Yeah.
She's a lot more like I don't know,
Interesting. That's
relaxed.
She's a lot more. You mean maybe she's a lot more? I don't know, relatable.
That's
You-
interesting.
I think that Brie Larson's trying to turn this franchise around.
Oh boy.
Let me jump back in.
She's wearing booby shirts.
What they got to do that helps.
Yeah.
What they really got to do is they got to make that character relatable.
Yeah,
that character. They overplayed her powers so much
Yeah.
that she had no weaknesses. The only lesson she learns in the fucking movie, which is Captain Marvel, the original, is, oh, I just need to be myself. Which is like the worst lesson you can ever teach anybody.
It's like we went from scowling face to like kind of more of a relaxed, boobies out type of demeanor. Suits a lot tighter in a lot of places after Tom Holland's ass got compared to hers. So she's trying to do what she can.
There's some course corrections.
All right, she's trying to course correct. Got to give her credit where credit is due. She saw that two other people were like stealing her thunder in her own movie, and she tried. So I don't know. I mean, this movie doesn't look terrible, but it doesn't look great.
I just don't know the angle. Like it's like they're intertwined.
Well, so that bad lady, the villain, clearly has a bangle bracelet like Kamala Khan does, the other one,
I did see
and
that.
she causes the powers to intertwine. Great. For what purpose? She does go, you took everything away from me, or something from Carol's past, I guess.
Well, the problem. Okay, one more time, and then I'm done. The problem with what they've done with Captain Marvel thus far, other than Brie Larson making her super unlikable, is she's so overpowered that, you know, in Captain Marvel and then in Avengers Endgame, she's trucking like gigantic ships.
Oh yeah, like flying right through.
You know,
them.
she's able to kill people killed hundreds of thousands of people, hundreds of people in seconds. So, like, who is she up against that she's going to need help with?
Yeah.
And the only angle I can see thus far in the trailer, and obviously it's a trailer, maybe what they're trying to do is, well, she's powerful, but because she's using her powers, it's actually putting these two people in danger.
Oh, so she has to be careful when.
But I just hope.
It's a good
I have
point.
nothing against strong characters, but there has to be some sort of weakness.
Well,
and she has none.
Like if you take Superman, for example, or the Sentry, or any like really super powerful character, there's always like Superman's a Boy Scout.
Right.
And so he doesn't use all of his power.
He's got a whole
He
bag.
just doesn't. He's scared to.
Yeah.
He's always struggling with the weight of his own power. I don't think that Captain Marvel has that built in. So,
Well, what is her? We don't know anything about her as Carol Danvers.
we just know that she's the best at everything, and she hates.
She was always the best.
Yes, she was. She didn't know it. She was always. The best.
really don't know anything about this character.
Yeah, what do you fall back on with that character? I mean, they did an extreme disservice to that character in the name of, I'm going to say it like our boy Adam, strong female leads.
I'm mildly interested.
But the movie looks all right.
Yeah,
for what it's
I'm
worth.
mildly interested, even though it's got Kamala Khan. It's great.
Let's
to see
put it in
her.
perspective. All right,
It just looks okay.
we're in a post Thor: Love and Thunder world, post Ant-Man world.
Right.
So, like, literally anything is better than what we've already gotten. So, like, we can't, I mean, that's true. Like, do you think that the Marvels is going to be worse than Thor: Love and Thunder? I don't.
No, what I'm piggybacking on.
If it is, then we got an embarrassment from Marvel.
No, well, what I think the problem is we're coming in a world where you can't just make a mediocre Marvel movie anymore either, though. You have to make something that's fucking different.
Well, yeah, everyone's got the knives out after these past few movies because they've been so
even if this movie, is let's say this movie is
mediocre at best.
Let's say it's Doctor Strange, the first Doctor Strange, or it's Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Okay, better
that's
than
not going to be
average.
enough.
Yeah,
I mean,
people aren't going to like that.
And already you could see like the kind of the look and the tone and the CGI. Like some of the shots of Carol flying when she comes up close, it doesn't look the greatest. Like I was like, oh, look at some of the CGI, not looking too good, and it looks like everything else already, like the past few movies. Right. So that is a problem. This one coming out November 10th, and I am surprised they have not delayed this. They're so far, like Warner Brothers hasn't changed any dates. Marvel hasn't.
You know why they haven't delayed it?
Yeah. Because they just want to get it out and get it over.
No. Warner Brothers, first off, it's Marvel.
No, I'm saying I'm surprised Marvel is still they're putting this out because they won't be able to promote.
They'd rather not have Brie Larson do press because it's worse.
Oh, shit. Brilliant. Fucking brilliant. She can't say shit that's going to get her in trouble.
She can't say anything. Yeah, she's not going to.
Like, can we move
she's not
this
going to argue with her castmates live on
can we put
Entertainment
this,
Tonight.
Can we release this tomorrow?
Thinking that it's like witty banter, but makes her look bad.
Oh, Anthony, I think you're absolutely right. Right? They're like, oh, this is a weird.
I'm sure they'll probably, if it comes to it, they might delay it just because this isn't an Ezra Miller situation. You still want to have the cast out.
And there are people who love Brie Larson and her going out.
I don't know about that.
She got fans. I think she got fans. I think her going out, but where is she going to promote it? There's no talk shows. She could still. I don't know. So
they need both back. They need the writers.
Yeah.
More importantly, the actors. If the actors aren't back, they're going to delay it.
All right, we'll see if that comes out November 10th. Another thing coming out November 3rd is Invincible Season 2.
Oh my God.
Yes, they put out a teaser trailer. And not only that, there is a one-shot special episode up on Amazon Prime right now called Adam Eve. It is that character Adam Eve's origin story. It's like 56 minutes. I've watched it. It's very good. It's good backstory. It's her origin and it's fucking dark. But this trailer looks fun. Can anybody remind me, where did the fucking season end? Spoilers for the end of Invincible. I remember
his dad beat the fuck out of him.
His dad was damn near about to kill him, beating the shit out of him on the side of a mountain.
He had a change of heart.
Then he didn't do it.
Yeah, right. Then he just let him go.
And then what happened to Omni-Man? He just flew off or something?
I think he flew off. I'd have to watch that episode. He beat the fuck out of him, had second thoughts, flew off, and then they're trying to rehabilitate Invincible because in case Omni-Man comes back.
Dude, I love this show. I can't wait for it to come back. And
great show.
The best part in this trailer is that towards the end when they go, and J.K. Simmons, and they show Omni-Man, and he just goes, "You should have died at birth." And it cuts away, which is exactly what Peacemaker's father, I think, also said to him in The Peacemaker. It's fantastic. But amazing voice cast and the additions of voice cast.
A lot of daddy issues.
Yes. Mark Grayson is going to do something. But yeah, so any other things about this trailer you guys like?
I didn't watch it, but I'm fully excited about a new season of Invincible.
I watched it. I mean, it's a nothing special trailer, but Invincible season 1, as Rugg said, and you said, amazing. And I saw some good names on there that they've added, and it opens up a whole. I just didn't even realize Invincible had all this lore.
When are we hitting? When's this hitting again?
November
3rd.
Yeah. So they're going to put out.
Man, that's a while off, but yeah.
Oh, so they're going to put out the first 4 episodes of the 8-episode season on November 3rd, and the second half they're going to put out in early next year. Oh, they're changing their release schedule. Interesting. I think it came out weekly.
We're gonna milk it now because
of
the writing.
Now they're like, we're going to put this out and we're going to wait.
Yeah.
Interesting strategy. Okay, let's move on to this next trailer, which is like a live action version of Invincible and also an amazing violent superhero show, The Boys spinoff. Gen V put out a REDBAND trailer. This is, of course, about.
I did not watch that.
This is about the university run by Vought, where they raise the supers. Anthony, did you watch this?
I did watch it.
Ruggs, you got to watch this because there's a scene where a girl goes, "I exploded his dick." It's a line.
Oh,
yeah, it's very good.
Okay.
Anthony, what about this one? This one was super gory and bloody and violent. Almost looked like a horror show.
Yeah, I think the vibe I got was that the lead is probably like the villain. Like they're doing like a Carrie type thing.
Oh, no way. Well, yeah, you notice she can control her blood and make it a weapon. I thought that's a crazy power.
Yeah, and then you had the dick jokes and
cockplosion.
It looks like Invincible just with teenagers.
So she kills people with her period?
Or the boy, essentially, something like that. I wonder if they're going to go there.
Yeah, they might.
Weird blood powers. No, you said it looks like The Boys with teenagers is what you meant, right? Yeah.
The Boys meets Carrie with teenagers.
I didn't think it'd be like such a horror-tinged thing. Yeah, there's even like a prom shot where she's at the prom just like Carrie. It's weird.
The only thing I have to say on this is I'm sure it'll be fine. Anytime you do a spinoff, that's when, unless you're Marvel in the first 10 years... That's when things start to jump the shark a little. That's when quality control starts to go a little sideways. I mean, remember Walking Dead, them doing spinoffs?
Oh, they're still doing spinoffs, baby.
They're doing spinoffs on spinoffs.
Yeah, they got 4 shows out there.
Green Arrow, or the Arrow. You know, when the spinoffs come, that's when the execs are like, "Oh, there's money to be made here," and then I don't know if there's as much creative.
Yeah, you're right about that. 100%. This is 100% true.
Quality goes down. Things happen.
We'll see. If this was organic and the creators were going, well, we want to do a Gen V and we've earned it, then yeah. But if it was
I'll be honest,
studio, then no.
I wasn't even tuned in on to this Gen V.
Yeah, a lot of people.
So.
I don't think a lot of people knew that this is part of The Boys and this is coming out. You know, The Boys gave us what? Was it 3 seasons? 3 seasons.
3, right?
3 seasons, right? And then they go
3. Fuck.
They go spin off. Last season was
Has
with,
it been 3? Oh yeah, no, it's been 3.
It's
Yeah,
been
you're
3.
right.
Last season was with Soldier Boy. Soldier
That was
Boy.
great.
Herogasm. Herogasm was fantastic. Dick exploding, all that fun stuff. Anyways, that's coming out September 23rd on the Amazon. Okay, let's move on to a trailer Ruggs has watched and Anthony hasn't.
I have not watched this trailer. I'm just going to be like Ruggs and start. I have not watched.
I'm drunk. I didn't watch this.
I don't watch it.
I'm talking about a trailer for Ahsoka.
Yeah, Super Ahsoka.
Super Ahsoka. Ruggs. We see blue people. We see Thrawn. We see fucking
dead people.
lightsabers. Ray Stevenson looking badass with a red lightsaber.
Yeah, we see like people from Rebels. We
Yeah.
see Sabine.
I mean, I think they've said this is essentially Rebels season 5. This is what they're going to do.
We
Live
see
action.
Hera from Rebels. We see
Yeah.
them all. And I have to say, I'm excited a
Geek
little
boner,
bit about
Floppy
this.
Jock, Geek boner.
Geek boner. I got like a little bit of like a semi. Like I got a semi like erect.
Yeah.
Geek boner.
It might be the last Star Wars thing we get for a while. As you know, Iger has said we're going to slow down on all this shit.
Yeah, I think that Rosario Dawson should show some more skin because Ahsoka was always like, even in like, I mean, this is inappropriate, but when she was like a Padawan, she was like barely wearing anything, and now
really?
she's completely like look like a monk. And so and like you got Rosario Dawson, one of the very beautiful people. You're not going to use that at all, like nothing.
Yeah, but you need
Nothing.
some protection from things, you know. You
Not if you're a Jedi.
Not if you're a Jedi.
What do you
I
got?
guess.
We got robes on. You ain't wearing armor or anything.
She's got
so.
2 lightsabers. She should be able to handle. I love how you see a picture of Ezra, like a drawing on the wall, and it kind of looks like the show. So
No. Like I really, actually, like however it is, I'm actually all for it. I'm into it.
this is
Ahsoka?
Ahsoka, yeah.
You
I feel like
into it?
it's gonna be at least if it's even like on the same levels as Rebels, which is just a cartoon. I'll be happy because it just continues the story of Ahsoka going after Ezra Miller or whatever his name is.
Yeah, so if they can
Bridger.
Ezra Bridger.
Ezra Bridger.
Not Ezra Miller. Oh, she's going after Ezra Miller would be
He's
even
going
better.
after Ezra Miller.
That's the show I want.
You
yeah.
both were saying Ezra Miller. I was going, what are you talking about?
I think secretly,
Well, you know.
I want to see a show about a Jedi.
Well, what if
chasing-
it's as
Ezra
good as Mandalorian season 3?
That wasn't bad.
Will you
Was that
still like it?
horrible?
It wasn't great.
Well,
What if it's Boba Fett? Because this is the same. Isn't this the same crew?
Yeah, it's all the same crew. Like
Filoni and
it's
everybody.
Filoni
but,
and
like
Favreau.
I don't know. I just feel good about it. I feel like
Okay.
hopefully it's good.
Because it has a strong female lead.
I like a good, strong female lead.
Dude,
I
she's
really
badass.
do.
She's badass with the fucking.
I just don't like shitty, strong female leads. I just don't like female leads that have absolutely no story behind them. That
They're
that I'm
just
supposed to
strong because they're strong. Because
Yeah,
that's what
like,
we
I mean,
want
like,
is
look,
strong.
It is a paradox because I do like male characters like that sometimes, but not all the time either. I always think that this is just bad.
Right.
I mean, if it's Frank Grillo, okay, you can assume that he's great at everything, okay? But, or like Stallone or Arnold, like they bring that to the role, right?
Right.
You don't have to it's Arnold. Like fucking shit's
Well,
gonna
there's
get fucked up.
There's a certain. I mean, there's. It's unless it's just the biggest female ever. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say it. They just bring a certain physical charisma that
Yeah, like
enhances.
Jean-Claude Van Damme's ass cheeks and hair alone
Right.
will fucking do all the storytelling you need to set the character up. So if you have a female character who has ass cheeks like Jean-Claude Van Damme and beautiful glistening hair like he does in Hard Target, then you don't have to write a story. Story writes
It
itself.
writes itself. Ahsoka 2-episode premiere August 23rd on the Disney Plus. We'll probably watch it. Listener, let us know what you think about all these trailers. Join the Facebook group. You can join this conversation. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. There's a link in the episode description. It is a closed, exclusive group with spoiler threads and fun geeking out in there. Okay, that's it for the news. Let's hit the first main chunk of Barbenheimer. Barbenheimer has happened. We are post-Barbenheimer weekend, and somehow, Anthony, we have succumbed to it. How did this happen? Because originally the plan was we were going to review Oppenheimer.
Well, listen, this is exactly what it is. Anthony, why did you do Barbenheimer?
Yeah, great question. I think the first time it dawned on me was I went to my theater, and I mentioned this in the Patreon review. By the way, check out the Patreon review. Also, Imran, I hope you corrected the Patreon
I did
review.
correct the title.
Very good, very good. I realized, oh, wait a minute, this is a thing. When I went to the theater Thursday night, and I went to a 9:10 showing of Oppenheimer, and I walked into that theater, and as I was going up the escalator to the lobby, there was a buzz in the theater of people in the lobby. And when I pulled up to the lobby, there were all these people in pink.
Yeah.
And
Crazy.
I was telling Imran before the show, I haven't seen a theater buzzing like that since Spider-Man No Way Home came out.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, fuck. I initially went, oh, fuck, we're reviewing the wrong movie. But then I went to Oppenheimer, and my theater was completely sold out.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. What I thought was going to be these two movies aping each other is actually just made this into like a pop culture event.
Amazing.
And I was like, and then once Ruggs, you said to over the weekend on Saturday that you had seen both.
On the same day, he saw both.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And
I did the
I think
double
there were
feature.
20,000 people that did that.
I did the double feature.
Okay.
Yeah, there were. I mean, it might even been more. But I think there was like 20 to 2, maybe it was 200,000 people that did the double feature. But anyways, once I realized Oppenheimer and then the buzz from Barbie being such a big thing and that Ruggs had seen it, because candidly, Ruggs would be the hardest one to convince if he hadn't seen it, just because he's got, felty shit to do in his life. So once I saw that, I went, well, we could review Barbie next week, but then we're not doing the Barbenheimer
Gotta
thing.
do Barbenheimer.
So I'm going to see it, and I know once I said I'm going to see it, I felt like Imran was going to be a pushover and see it too. So,
And I did I really wanted to see it, but Ruggs, I need to know the order, the time, how much space between, because these two movies back to back, that is a mind fuck.
Well, okay, to be honest with you, I was going to only see Barbie.
Okay, interesting.
Oh, wow.
I had no idea that we had to review Oppenheimer for the show. So I squeezed in Oppenheimer when I could.
Yeah. Oh.
I went to see Barbie out of pure curiosity.
Oh, and then you were like, fuck, I got to watch this too, and then just went to that.
No, but what happened was, okay, look, so this is how the chain of events was like, I got to see Barbie because I know I'm going to hate this movie, and I just want to be able to talk about it on the show. And so I was going to see it regardless if we had to see it or not.
Yeah.
Then I contacted everyone and they said, oh, we're going to see Oppenheimer this week. That's the movie we're watching. I'm like, oh, shit. So then I scheduled Oppenheimer right before Barbie. I bought tickets for the Oppenheimer show right before I was going to see Barbie. So I saw them both back to back.
But you saw
basically.
Oppenheimer first.
Yes.
And then Barbie.
So
Interesting.
amongst the net,
Interesting.
speaking of this became such a thing that Barbenheimer is now a Wikipedia page.
That's amazing. Memes were
but
great.
amongst the net, the consensus is Oppenheimer first, then Barbie.
Because you want to end on the happy, fun note. Makes sense.
It's just a much lighter.
But that's 5 hours of fucking movie.
Yeah, but
You do.
the if you went Oppenheimer second,
Yeah.
the back half
Yeah.
is going to be a very intense back half.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the lighter, smaller, shorter movie is better to see at the end.
Dude, anyways, like, again, I'll get into all.
Here we are.
Here
Barbenheimer
we've done
weekend,
it.
baby.
What a crazy, we'll get into why this happened, but like, this is marketing you couldn't pay for. Viral, organic memes started happening. Both movies.
Posters were amazing.
The posters are great. Both movies
This
helping
is just
each
a
other.
meme. This is the power of the internet.
This
It has
is a
nothing to do
meme.
with the movies.
Right.
Having like, okay, let's break down the movie thing. All right. Like, yes, this thing was a meme, but I feel like Oppenheimer got the most glow up from this because
it rubbed off.
I
the
do
most.
because Barbie is like a staple toy. It's like if Transformers came out.
Sure.
It's like a staple toy
Right, big
for
name.
girls.
Yeah.
It's like their biggest toy, like the biggest brand that there ever was for girls' toys. So to think that doesn't have a built-in audience, that's just stupidity. Like if you open the G.I. Joe movie, you'd have built-in audience, right? So already Barbie was had the shine on it. Now, the fact that it was up against Oppenheimer,
Yes.
which was ridiculous,
completely opposite.
to have two of these two movies go up against each other. And then everyone's like, let's just see them both because Christopher Nolan's like the last good director of recent times, you know? So I feel like that Oppenheimer got a bigger opening than it ever would have gotten. Barbie, I expected to get a big opening because it is a staple of, it's a giant franchise that's been around for centuries, you know? So, or not centuries, decades, but like, you know.
Yeah. Well, both movies going in the box office beat industry experts.
Yeah, all the tracking
predictions.
Yeah, was they?
So both had the rub. I would agree, though. I think Oppenheimer got a rub that wasn't really intended by Warner Brothers. I think they wanted to crush Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
and then actually ended up making this a whole thing where you got Nolan and this serious movie with Cillian Murphy, and then you got Barbie directed by Greta Gerwig, who's an up and coming director with Margot Robbie, and it's just.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, the internet fucking made this such a phenomenon.
Yeah, this is the power of Twitter. This is the power of Instagram and TikTok.
Anyways, look, let's get into Barbenheimer. We are going to review Oppenheimer first, and then we will get to Barbie. Here are your spoiler alerts.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
Oppenheimer is Christopher Nolan's 12th movie, and kind of the reason this happened, this is his first movie with Universal. If you did not know, Nolan was with Warner Brothers for many years until the fateful year 2021, when Warner Brothers decided to release all their movies day and date in the theater on streaming. He did not like that. I think that's when Tenet was coming out, when we made people go see that fucking movie in the theater. So he leaves Warner Brothers, lands at Universal. They put the movie at this date, and then Warner Brothers is like, what? Oh, fuck you. We're putting Barbie on the same date. This is how.
Try and fuck Nolan.
Yes.
Well, Nolan usually does a July release.
Oh, yeah. He has owned this late July date for every movie. Yes. So this was normal for him. And in the meantime, Warner Brothers is like, oh, yeah, but luckily it helped both of them. Anyways, the movie is based on the 2005 biography called American Prometheus, written by Kai Berg and Martin J. Sherwin.
One thing, Aaron, real quick before you, it has to be said too. Not only did this thing got so crazy with the internet that the actors from each of their movies and the directors from each of their respective movies started promoting each other's movies.
Yes,
and showing themselves getting tickets. Tom Cruise has
he did it. Yes,
tweets or photos of him buying tickets to see both of these.
Yeah,
movies.
he's the one who got ass raped the most.
Yeah.
Oh,
literally the entire industry started promoting each other. It was crazy.
It helped everybody won. Like, what a huge fucking weekend.
Said, go see Barbie.
Yeah. And Greta Gerwig's like, go see Oppenheimer. And Tom Cruise is like, go see both and see my movie.
See both.
Even though
no one see Mission Impossible.
That movie dropped about 64% in its second week.
I feel so bad for him because
a great movie.
I want to see it. I haven't seen it yet.
And it lost a lot of screens, right? Because Barbie is on like every fucking screen. On the Rotten Tomatoes, yes, Oppenheimer currently sitting at a 94% tomato meter, 8.7 out of 10. Also 94% audience rating. This R-rated movie was made for just $100 million, which is a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money.
Good.
Right? It's very modest budget.
You don't need a lot of money to make a good movie.
And Nolan apparently claims that there was no CGI used in the movie.
That's correct.
That's great.
Which is why he can keep the cost down.
Even created his own explosions.
Yes, he did, which is fantastic. So, what did the Barbenheimer effect do to this R-rated 3-hour movie about a man who...
A biopic?
A biopic with an explosion in it?
Talking biopic.
$82 million opening weekend. That's not too bad.
It's pretty good. What was the
listen,
estimate?
you're forgetting about one of the most important things about this movie. It's got boobs in it.
Oh, we'll get to that. Hold your horses. Worldwide right now, it's sitting at about $180 million.
What was the prediction for this weekend?
$50 million.
Yeah, okay.
I have updated numbers for both these movies. They were a little bit higher today than they were yesterday because they had the final counts. So, and you know, Nolan's movies are rated 3 hours. They have legs. They never start like huge, but 82 million is not bad for this fucking
82 million. Again, it has to be worth saying for a 3-hour biopic.
People talking.
Where it's 98% talking.
For R-rated too, that is a huge opening for an R-rated movie, even if it wasn't 3 hours.
It was a boring ass movie, and it made all this money.
There are reports.
And we got Ruggs' thoughts.
Wait, we didn't get there. I also read I heard there are reports of people who went to see Barbie and it was sold out, and they just went to see Oppenheimer. So he got that was the effect. He got the runoff This, of course, written and directed by Christopher Nolan. Music by Ludwig Göransson, which I love his scores. Starring Cillian Murphy as J. Robert Oppenheimer. Amazing cast. You got Emily Blunt as Kitty Oppenheimer. Robert Downey Jr. is in this. Alden Ehrenreich. Jason Clarke.
Rami Malek.
Rami Malek. Kenneth Branagh is in this. James Darcy. Crazy cast. A lot of great talent.
Did you say Matt Damon?
Matt Damon. Florence Pugh.
I mean, everywhere you looked, there was another person. You're like, oh, this fucking person's in this movie.
This guy's in it.
Wait, this person in this movie.
And apparently he shot this on 65 millimeter IMAX cameras, and it was enlarged to 70 millimeter print. So like if you want to really see this, you got to find a theater, play 70 millimeter. But that print apparently weighs 600 pounds, and the film is 11 miles long, a film for this 3-hour movie. Just a giant platter. Anthony, what happens in Oppenheimer? It's pretty straightforward. And then I want a little bit of theater.
Yeah, I mean, it's as I said a couple times, it's a biopic about is it J. Robert Oppenheimer?
J. Robert Oppenheimer.
Yeah. And a biopic told in mixed timeline, so that it's not a chronological movie, about his youth and getting into quantum physics and then getting hired by the U.S. military to create a bomb faster than the Germans, and then them creating the bomb, and then the after effect of how he felt about the bomb and his disgrace and all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, that's what it is.
Any theater?
No spoilers there if you looked at history at all.
You can't really spoil either of these movies, really. Maybe Barbie a little bit.
No, Barbie is definitely more of a...
This one, not so much.
Takes a little bit more of a turn. Not Oppenheimer.
Yeah, bomb goes...
But, I mean, not a lot of people... I didn't know that Oppenheimer was disgraced.
Yeah, I didn't know this story either. I found it very interesting. Anything interesting in your theater experience, aside from it was packed? There's people wearing pink?
No people wearing pink.
There's a lot of old people.
So I had the opposite. I was there on a Thursday night at 9:10.
Yeah.
And I was all the people next to me had to have been maybe at most 24 years old.
Wow.
And no one was, goofing off during everyone was dead silent throughout the entire movie. People were laughing before, and I was going, "Oh, this is going to be a shitty movie to watch." Yeah. But throughout the entire movie, even during the nudie scenes, which were freaking like not that sexy, like kind of awkward to watch.
Yeah. Says you.
Well, rugs. No joking around. So everyone was into the movie.
My theater was also full. Here's the only thing that happened to me. The dude sitting next to me at one point, and I'll tell you what point it was got really emotional. He was hyperventilating at one point. He was like,
there's something wrong with him.
Crying. Like, this movie got to him. And I was like, this is a good movie, but I don't know about this reaction. So, like, there was a point where it's completely...
When is he crying?
It was the scene where, right after the explosion, when he goes... It's the best part of the movie. When he goes to talk to that crowd of people in that rally, and the sound cuts out, and he sees their faces start to burn away, and it gets bright, and it's really quiet, and the screams of joy kind of turned into screams of terror, and it gets totally silent, and this dude next to me is fucking hyperventilating. I was like, whoa, bro, this thing got you. But I feel like that's one of the most powerful scenes in the movies. Anyways, let's get to what did everybody think. Ruggs, did you have any theater experience stories?
I went in like the middle of the day, like 12 o'clock, something like that.
Was it packed?
It was packed with bitches, yes. It was like a lot of people there.
They couldn't get into Barbie.
And yeah. No, there was like old people and like young people, like really young people. Like I was like, oh, you're going to be bored, you young fucks. Like the old people, like I experienced this. I'm just reliving my past. Like I understand. And there was I sat next to a very smelly woman.
This is the best.
Yeah. Well, she was very smelly for some reason.
Anthony, did Nolan deliver a one-of-a-kind theater experience to you? For you?
I'll say it like this. This movie, first off, it's better than Tenet. It's much more coherent than Tenet. It's in all aspects. If you're talking about pure filmmaking, acting, story, dialogue, sound, things on screen, potential Academy Award,
It's all there.
Either by movie, by best actor, best supporting actor, best supporting actress, the sound design. If you're talking about technical filmmaking, this is a great movie. It just really depends on what is your aptitude for a 3-hour biopic that's 99% talking.
Yeah.
And told in nonlinear story format with a lot of names and a lot of dialogue, and with Nolan again sometimes overlaying the sound so loud that you can't hear the fucking dialogue.
Yeah.
I don't know why he keeps doing that.
He's got sound issues.
I don't know why he keeps doing that, but if you're into that kind of shit, then this is a masterpiece. If you're like me that was coming into this seeing 39 action movies in a row, maybe not the best primer for this kind of movie.
Probably not.
It's an interesting story. It's well made. It's a masterpiece, and it's boring at the same time. That's my
interesting.
take on it.
Rugs, but
Not exactly the most rewatchable movie.
Yeah.
in my
Well,
I agree.
Anthony being primed by all these action movies probably didn't help. But like,
No.
I have the luxury of like being able to like plan my reaction for the movie that I'm seeing. So like, I knew it was going to be a boring fucking history lesson, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I was primed for that. I was ready to learn. And that's where I become disappointed.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I feel like I didn't learn anything. I already knew all this shit going in.
You knew about Oppenheimer?
I mean, I didn't know like every detail about him, but I didn't really like. I feel like somewhat like, okay, I knew that there was a race to get the bomb.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
We
that
were
they
behind.
had to use the bomb in order to kind of like shut everyone else up. Like, be like, they had to use it, even though they didn't need to use it. They had to use it.
Did they need to use it twice? That's my question.
No, they didn't need to use
What
it
was the
twice. But I
second
think
time?
that they
Well-
needed to use it twice because they wanted to let everyone know that we had more than
We
one.
could do it again.
Well, that's part of it, but also, I mean, if you want to, I'm a huge World War II guy. Not to say I'm an expert, but they used it twice because Japan did not surrender after the first one.
Man, give them a second, though. You just blew their shit up. I mean,
Well, and Ruggs is right. When they dropped the second one, they wanted to show we had a unlimited stock.
yeah.
Right.
Man.
So, but I knew all that going in. And so I didn't really learn anything great. I learned that Oppenheimer liked to fuck girls a lot, I guess.
That's
I
He's a
guess.
womanizer.
He's a womanizer. I did not know.
Yeah.
Did not know that part.
You know, and I would have liked to have that a little bit more in the story then, because that's something I didn't know.
Yeah.
But like, I think the most interesting thing about this movie is the rivalry that he has with Robert Downey
With
Jr.'s
Strauss.
character.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
that
best part
doesn't
of it.
happen. That doesn't happen until the very end. So like for a long time, you're like, okay, I'm like, I mean, not being a history expert, just being aware of World War II and what happened and Godzilla and all that other stuff. But it would be cool if Godzilla would have had a little.
That should have been
cameo.
the post-credit
But
scene, like
like-
Godzilla comes up after the bomb.
Yeah.
That'd have been great.
This is the best prequel. to
That'd have been
Godzilla.
hilarious. This is a prequel to Godzilla.
Yeah, like so I would have liked to feel like I learned a lot more, but I feel like it kept you at arm's length a lot of the time. Now, having that said, some of the performances were fucking electric. I loved a lot of the performances.
You too.
Matt Damon was
great.
great.
Mhm.
Fucking Cillian Murphy was great.
He was fucking amazing.
His
Cillian Murphy-
wife was great.
Yeah, Emily Blunt.
Now,
Emily
can
Blunt.
I ask you a question about this? Like, do you want to tell before I start asking questions?
Before
about
you
the movie?
ask, let me just put out there, I thought, look, this movie is heavy. It is bleak. And it's long. And I don't think it needed to be 3 hours. I feel like they could have cut. Maybe there was parts where it was losing me. But it's weird how the explosion is kind of in the middle. And it's not even about the explosion. And I want to talk about what you guys thought about that. But I really enjoyed learning about Oppenheimer. Did not know this story. The whole sequence of him building Los Alamos to the explosion to the end of the movie with the double hearings. I rather enjoyed that whole section. I thought, but I didn't expect, he loves to play with time and he does it in every movie. So I guess I
but
should
I
have
don't think I don't really think it was I think it was fine in this movie. I don't think it really helped.
I don't think you need to tell this story non-linearly. There's true because it does make it somewhat confusing.
What does it give you for being non-linear?
He likes to make his viewers work.
It
to watch
doesn't
a
really
movie.
get you there faster.
Yeah.
Like usually when you do non-linear things, right? Either you're trying to create a juxtaposition that really helps to tell your story.
Yeah.
or are you trying to get everyone there faster? So you're like cutting out time, jumping back, filling everybody in, and going forward again. So in that respect, I don't think it does anything, either of those really that well. It does a little bit, but it's not enough to justify itself almost. So I feel like he was superfluously doing it. And that annoyed me.
He just that's what he likes to do, right? He's like, I'm not going to tell this in order. I thought it was cool to see like Niels Bohr, Albert Einstein, these scientists, and he kind of makes intellectual discourse kind of exciting in his own way.
But what did you learn about atomic energy that you didn't already know?
I don't know. You knew it was going to
you have this opportunity, right? You have like one of the foremost like minds on this kind of science, and you're not like you're not taking the opportunity to like break it down and give it to people. Like you're like, hey, this is a movie about like the power that is in the atom. Like we fucking huge strides are made. This is like fucking, and I felt like even though they did say that, I didn't feel it. Did you feel like the monumentalness of what they did?
It was kind of like anticlimactic-ish because he doesn't show you Hiroshima or Nagasaki.
Yeah,
right?
They I think they purposely don't show you that.
I don't think they need to.
Yeah.
I think that test bombing could have been better.
But Cillian Murphy's face, I love the extreme close-ups. I saw it on IMAX. His face is huge, and like just you could read everything on his face was amazing. So that it's about Oppenheimer, and it's about how Nolan wants to tell this story is what the movie's really about, kind of, to me.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I agree. I think I don't completely agree with Ruggs. I don't think the movie I don't think the movie was there to teach me about quantum physics. I think the movie was more to lay the groundwork for the internal strife that he had, and then post that him trying to walk back some of those things, and then being called a communist for it, and then
there's a lot more political intrigue about what does it mean to be Oppenheimer, and have like he has these ideas about humanity, and then he goes and creates this bomb that makes they're incongruent to one another, right?
And I think the movie I don't know how true it is. It might be very true. But it displays Oppenheimer in a way where he's not really the guy. He never really was the guy that like created the bomb. He doesn't even really have the ideas. He's kind of just fostering the ideas from everyone else, and then shepherding it into
theory. He's
this
just
bomb,
good at
right?
theory.
He's the theory guy.
He's not the mathematician. Right. He's not the designer.
He's not the smartest guy in the room at any point in the movie.
But he kind of has to
amongst
be
the other
like.
people.
No, I actually disagree with you on that.
You think so?
I feel like he's like the Stephen Jobs of the atomic bomb, where you need somebody who has the vision and knows that it's possible, and will put the right people in the room to create that, and will get them to play well with each other in order to achieve that.
That is
goal.
an interesting analogy, because he's kind of a showman like Jobs. You have to be kind of a politician and a scientist and be able to, please people. But in the meantime, he's cheating on his wife, and then they just destroy his reputation, and then they give him an award.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
I have a question about Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh's boobies. Yes, what's your question?
Did he murder her?
No, she killed herself.
No, okay, here's the thing. I did some research on this. They show us that she killed herself. She had some mental issues, whatever.
I saw some hands holding her down.
Here's kind of the conspiracy theory, is that it's possible. Some people think that government had her killed because they didn't know if Oppenheimer had shared any secrets during his time at Los Alamos with her.
Okay, because I saw like a pair of like hands in black.
I did see something like that too. Like I vaguely remember that. And I think Oppenheimer was also...
It's only in one shot, very briefly.
I think he questioned that if it was a suicide. So the conspiracy theory is the government took her out. So they didn't know what she knew.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I did not expect Florence Pugh's boobies. What did we think about that? That was crazy.
No, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that.
Completely unnecessary. That's why I like it.
Well, the scene where they have her banging him and he's in the being questioned.
Yeah.
I mean, it's supposed to make you feel kind of weird about it. I mean, it was. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything other than whoa. I was just whoa. I didn't expect to see that at all.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to create a moment that you were going to remember and comfortably, and he did that.
Here's a funny story. No CGI in this movie, right? And I'm sure he's very proud of that. Except in some countries in Asia and India, for example, they are editing the scenes with Florence Pugh and putting her in a black dress, meaning there is now CGI in the fucking movie. How mad do you think Christopher Nolan is that they're doing this?
I don't know. That's a good question.
They've ruined his perfect no CGI slate. Anyways, what do you think of the explosion that sort of is the centerpiece of the thing, done with actual live explosives, no CGI?
If you've seen any Godzilla movie, they've used that explosion in every single one, like the 1998 one, the 2014 one.
Not only that, I mean, if you've watched thrown YouTube on, you can YouTube the nuclear bomb explosion. You can see what it looks like.
Yeah, but like in 4K IMAX size. I don't know. I thought
it was cool. It was cool. I mean, it was fine. The movie, in some ways, is building to this, but really, in a lot of ways, isn't. Like, it's not the crux of the movie at all. It's a big moment in the movie, but
I do think they could have really made it more cinematic.
Yeah, I would agree. I thought I was just kind of whelmed by it. Yeah. I was
put it this way. Okay, for example, there's actual footage of it, right?
Yeah,
and
the whole
we know what it looks like.
Yeah, they have footage.
Yeah, there's actual footage of it. So it's like you don't need to imagine what it is, but you can artistically emphasize it. So you can have the sound and the idea of what it feels like and all that stuff. You can, you could have taken some liberties with the mountain or whatever they were fucking setting this thing off, fucking shit flying through the air and I don't know, but you could do something to really, other than just a flash of light and someone smiling into a fucking lens.
I did enjoy the little parts where it kind of, it cuts and you see the jittery lines or the particles and how they would fuck with the background when he was kind of losing it in public. Like the background. Well,
that's the best scene. It's when he's talking to that crowd after he's done it.
That's the best. That's the best part of the whole movie because that's where it all builds up to that. And that's not even the end. It keeps going for 45 minutes more.
So
I do want to add. Well, let me add real quick on that scene with the bomb exploding. I forgot that sound travels fast, slower than light.
The shockwave comes later.
Where the shockwave happens. There was good sound design there, and then there was good sound design throughout the film where he'd be dreaming or something, and then it'd jar you with some sound.
I like that.
I thought he really did a good job with that kind of stuff.
I did like that the editing, the sound editing. It really shook me. I love that bit where the guy's like, let's not bomb Kyoto. I honeymoon there. It's lovely. It's like, okay, holy shit. But
that's actually true.
Yes, that was true. Him accidentally poisoning or on purpose trying to poison his teacher. That was true, but it wasn't Niels Bohr that kind of changed that. The Albert Einstein conversation is great at the end, I guess. What else?
I just want you to think about this. All right. So you're a guy, the government comes and taps you and says, listen, all these fucking other people are trying to create a nuclear bomb and you need to beat them because if you don't, we're fucked. Yeah. That's a pretty heavy request.
That's fucked up.
Now, on one hand, you got to protect where you live and the people around you, but at the same time, you got to create something that can kill a lot of people. And I think that's interesting in and of itself. Morally. And I think they do get to that in this movie, but not as much as I would like. But I do think that they do in that scene where he starts to imagine people are skins peeling off.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't think it was enough. I think it was good that they did that and they did touch upon it, but I think they could have done a little more.
Drove that home a little bit more, but instead,
it's it's a juxtaposition of you trying to protect your country and yourself and the future, versus the price that you have to like now display this power and unfortunately kill like a bunch of people.
And I mean,
and the juxtaposition of he was never interested in it being used for this.
Right.
He was interested in quantum physics.
Right. The new science.
Yeah, he had all of these theories, and the only way to actually like put them into reality is to actually go and test the shit out. And you can't do that without unleashing destructive power. So that's fascinating to me. All right. A lot of
and
this,
you feel like this movie didn't touch upon that enough?
No, I feel like it did because we're talking about it. Right.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
In some way, it elicited those thoughts from me, but I really feel like maybe I'm more intelligent than the next person. And that's a shitty thing to say because I know I'm not, but like that I'm already primed for that. You know, I'm primed to have that conversation, but maybe people that do see it won't, or maybe they will. Who knows?
I mean, just the fact that there was a chance that it could ignite the atmosphere, and they were like, "Fuck it, we're still gonna do this." That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a chance.
There's a tiny chance.
Near zero. They said near zero.
But I'll agree with you, Anthony. I don't think it's very rewatchable. Like I watched it once, and maybe 10 years from now, I'll watch it again when I forget.
It's
never
not
have to watch it.
Yeah, it's not your typical Nolan film. Nolan films are usually pretty heavy and long, but there are points of Nolan films that, unless you're a complete cinephile, then you'll probably watch this again or watch parts of it. But there's some Nolan films have a good rewatchability factor. This one does not, in my opinion. But that doesn't mean that it's not bad. I mean, that doesn't mean it's bad. It's one of those movies that you watch it once, and unless you're just a nerd about movies and love technical filmmaking and want to watch that kind of stuff, once is enough.
It is, but I still feel like it's an important movie, and it is.
What do you think Nolan's message is?
Well, that's the thing. He doesn't. He doesn't really leave you with, was it right or wrong? He leaves it up to you, kind of, to decide. And the fact that even Oppenheimer, once he's a scientist, once he makes the bomb, it's out of his hands whether to use it. But you could see the conflict. He goes to Truman. He tells him, "I got blood on my hands." That scene was great. And Truman's like, "Get this crybaby. Don't let this crybaby in again." Just did not give a fuck.
Well, yeah, because he didn't want to have to deal with it. Like,
he's showing you a flawed individual that has given humanity the power to destroy itself.
But why? Okay, there's no need to include any of the Robert Downey Jr. stuff if you're telling a story about Oppenheimer making the bomb.
That's the bad guy, though. It's kind of like his arch nemesis.
So the fact that Nolan created this trial was, in a way.
Wait, that's not real? I think that's real.
That is real.
I didn't. I'm not saying that it's not real.
Why include it?
It's not germane to telling the story of Oppenheimer.
But it is, though.
I mean, he's telling the story of Oppenheimer. I think he is. I think it is if you're telling the story of this man's rise and fall from grace.
Okay, wait. Let me backtrack that. Like, you're telling the story of the nuclear bomb. Oppenheimer is more than the nuclear bomb, so you're right about that.
Right.
So, yeah, this is actually Nolan's way of like redeeming to a degree Oppenheimer's like credibility.
Yeah, his reputation.
Yeah, in a way. Wow. Yeah, I think so. I would also say that I don't know if Nolan probably has a message, but I think Nolan's also just, in my opinion, found this to be an interesting story about a man that's not a black and white situation and had this thing that he created, and I think he put it on screen and he leaves it. Nolan treats his audience. Nolan doesn't spoon and feed anything to his audience. Right. In fact, Nolan makes it pretty hard to listen to some of the stuff.
He makes you work to watch the fucking movie.
Yeah, so I think he's just taking this and going, I will let the audience do what they want with it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just presenting it.
Yeah, I think it was interesting. I don't know if it's the movie watching experience of my lifetime, but I definitely thought it was interesting.
Well, let's rate and rank the movie, fellas. You may or may not have seen all of these movies. Here are the 12 movies Christopher Nolan has made, just for consideration, in chronological order, following Memento, Insomnia, Batman Begins, The Prestige, The Dark Knight, Inception, Dark Knight Rises, Interstellar, Dunkirk, Tenet, and now Oppenheimer. Anthony, give it a number and where you think it is out of these.
Well, I haven't seen all the Nolan
Sure.
films, so I'm not gonna
Give
do
me
that.
your favorite Nolans that you've seen.
My favorite Nolans, I mean, The Dark Knight, Memento, Inception. You know, those are the ones that come to mind right away. It's not that level, but it's not it's such a different movie than those. Yeah. Those all have a forward driving thing that is exciting and has conflict and has action. And this movie has action, but it's verbal act, right? You know, so it's just a completely different thing. He doesn't very often make movies like this, if ever.
True.
I don't think it's the first time. Yeah. So it's hard to compare to those movies. As far as my rating, if you're talking about a technical movie, I will say that it was a little hard to follow at times, and the dialogue comes fast and the names come fast. And I was jealous of one of my friends that got to see the movie with subtitles because that would have really helped.
Yeah.
Because I was fucking losing track of whose name was what.
Yeah.
But by the end of the movie, once I caught on to what was going on and what the chronology was, I kind of got in a groove with it. Technically, it's a masterpiece. It's probably going to get nominated for Best Picture.
Absolutely.
Probably going to get Robert Downey Jr. right now. Probably is the lead for Best Supporting Actor.
Cillian Murphy
and probably get
Best Director.
Probably be nominated Best Actor. Emily Blunt might get Best Supporting Actress, and then there's going to get a ton of technical categories that's going to be probably nominated for.
I think he gets Best Director nomination.
Maybe. I mean, I think it's all on the table right now. But so if you're rating it like that, I mean, it's a 9.5, 10 out of 10, possibly.
Yeah.
But as far I'm incorporating my entertainment level. My entertainment level was probably, I don't know, a 6. I was looking at my phone throughout the movie trying to see how much time was left. So when you kind of combine those scores, I would say, factoring in entertainment, 7.5.
Yeah. Yeah, it's.
But I could, if you told me you rated it a 10, I wouldn't disagree with you. I'd say it's probably a 10, sure.
Do you think it's his up with his best movies or just mid tier maybe? Oh, I guess you haven't watched them all. But
I mean, again, I haven't seen all his movies. I think if you are, hoity-toity Oscar voter, this is probably, you might think this is his best movie.
Yeah. I could see.
Right? They love biopics about war with amazing casts that interrogate each other and have snappy dialogue.
It's Oscar bait, man.
Yeah, it's a complete Oscar bait movie, and it's well done. So yeah, that's my thought.
Ruggs, what do you give it? What do you rank it?
I'm gonna use Gary Oldman as my barometer.
He's in the fucking movie.
I forgot.
Too.
Yeah, he's plays Truman, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, is that Gary Oldman? Holy shit.
This is not even Gary Oldman's best movie.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
He wasn't he like fucking the British dude in the
wasn't he Winston Churchill?
He was
He was Winston Churchill in a movie.
Dude, Drexel from True Romance. That's his best one.
Yeah,
come on.
And was it The Darkest Hour?
Yes.
Was it in that movie?
Yeah.
So I feel like they're not that far apart in terms of movies. Like they're both the kind of like historical pieces where you have to like it's a observation of a character in history, and they're both like interchangeable to me. Like as far as like The Darkest Hour is, that's why I brought it up, because it's like the only movie I can think of that's like this. It's about like a person in a situation. It's a biopic of a person in a certain part of time that has to do something, crazy to like end this war. So I think they're comparable, and I feel like they're like just as good as each other. So I don't really feel like it rises above movies about the wars that, we watched other movies like 1917 about World War I.
I watched.
That was like visceral and everything like that.
What
every
about
single way.
Dunkirk? I rewatched Dunkirk, which is kind of a nice compliment to this movie. It's half the length and all the action. That movie is tense as fuck the whole time.
Yeah, these movies, this movie, I think The Darkest Hour is a more fair comparison.
That's true. Yeah, because
it's more of an action film.
Yeah,
but
Dunkirk is action.
So we've seen it like done in like a lot of different ways. So if you're going to measure it a bunch against those types of movies, it's just, it meets par. Like Gary Oldman is not someone you want to fuck with, right? Yeah. Like he's like a fucking great actor and so he's risen to that, like Nolan's risen to that level where you can like, be at the same level as a Gary Oldman Oscar nominated film.
Sure.
So that you have to say.
Yeah.
Entertainment wise, I'm going to say I'm at a 7. All right. It's just a little bit above average for me. Entertainment wise, the acting is great, but like, as I said, I've seen a lot of these films. So it's like, I expect a little more. But I think it was brilliant in a lot of ways too. So it's like, I would say a 7 is a fair score.
Okay. And not his best.
Yeah. Like The Prestige and The Dark Knight are my favorite Nolan films.
Okay. Yeah.
And then Batman Begins is the third runner up there.
Absolutely.
But like, he's got so many better films than this.
I mean, it's
rewatchable anyway.
Right. More better movies that are rewatchable than this one for sure. I'm with you, Anthony. Like, technically, this is a fucking master. It's easily 9.5. You got to go for what he did, those shots, the acting, the editing, the writing. Impressive, Oscar worthy. My entertainment score is probably an 8. I enjoyed like the middle to the end a lot. And I did enjoy learning about Oppenheimer. But I think my favorite Nolan movie is just like you guys. Dark Knight's got to be his best fucking movie. And I love Inception, and Memento is fantastic. So I would put it after those movies, and maybe even like Dunkirk is a better movie just because there's more action. I don't know.
Well, let me say this real quick before we wrap up on Oppenheimer. It's nice to see, whether you like this movie or not, it's nice to see Nolan, a director-led movie, getting $100 million in the middle of the summer, being released, and it being a this fucking thing, right? And it makes money, right? Yeah. So what that shows you, and it could be because of Barbie, but it could be, whatever. It doesn't matter, right? What that's showing you is the general viewing audience is down to see some different shit.
They are getting tired of fucking superhero movies.
And it's good that a movie that isn't a fucking action movie, a superhero action movie, or based on some sort of IP, can like, it's this movie. And this movie makes a lot of money. Like that's a good thing for all movies.
I agree with you. I just really wish that why is this the movie that everyone went out for?
I mean, it's a good movie, though. That's the thing. Like, it's a good movie. And after Tenet, he needed this hit. This is a win for him. To kind of course correct after Tenet. So, all in all, like you said, the fact that it made 80 million is crazy. And
I'm going to have similar thoughts on Barbie in terms of impact on the industry. But
yes, all right, Will Harris,
this is good.
We will take a quick break here, listener. Play some promos. We are done with the first half of Barbenheimer. We're going to come back and talk about the fun half of Barbenheimer right after this.
The pink half.
The pink half.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey, this is Matt.
And Jesse.
We host American Slacker Podcast, your weekly rundown for weird news, entertainment suggestions, and unique games.
Every other week, we bring on guests from all walks of life, like comedian Mark Forward of Letterkenny.
Yeah, we just call it tuna up here. We're pretty clear that it's a fish.
And NYC stand-up powerhouse Ian Fidance.
I want to fucking punch you in the fucking face with positivity and fun, motherfucker.
Actor Brandon Crane of Stephen King's It.
Because a lot of the work that I did, like Wonder Years to It, they were all very, period 50s, 60s, and, Chucks were all the rage.
And Art the Clown from Terrifier, David Howard Thornton.
They also had to make a mold of my face while I was there, so that was kind of claustrophobic in itself.
Musician Dan Simons of Just Surrender.
First time ever going on a tour, you remember every stop.
And Nick Thompson of Hit the Lights.
All the stuff that I think that people go through life, and it's just like my outlet for that.
Watch the video version of American Slacker on our YouTube channel and listen to our show on your favorite podcast app.
New episodes every Wednesday. Visit our website, aspodcast.com, for everything American Slacker.
That's it.
There you go.
Have you ever been reading through a stack of comics and thought, maybe I should see what this Arkham Asylum game is all about? Or been playing Marvel vs. Capcom and felt like you were at a real disadvantage since you didn't know who half the characters were? Well, Play Comics is the show for you. I'm Chris, and each episode we take a look at video games based on comic properties and how well they stick to that source material. So whether you know the comics and want to know how all these games work, or you know the games and want to find out where all this craziness came from, go check out Play Comics at playcomics.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy the show, make sure you sign up for our Patreon fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Jock and Nerd. You can give back on a monthly or annual basis and get benefits. You get access to an exclusive podcast feed where the shows come out early. Bonus content is there. You would have heard our instant reactions to both Oppenheimer and Barbie. At least mine and Anthony's. Ruggs was too drunk to send something in. You okay, Ruggs?
Yeah.
Okay. Hang in there. You also, I don't know what is happening. You also, Ruggs is drunk. You also get access.
Are you happy that I'm back, Imran?
I'm so glad you're back, Ruggs. Where are you? He's like across the room. You also get access to our Discord monthly hangout where we like to geek out once a month on Discord. Our next meeting will be August 24th, 8 p.m. Put it in your calendar. And there's a You Pick It tier where you can choose any movie for us to watch and review. There's a tier where you get a t-shirt and you become kind of one of our special producers of the show. It's a lot of fun over there. jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Check it out. Okay. We got through the bleak, depressing part of Barbenheimer. Let's get to the pink part. The pink fun part. Barbenheimer Part 2. We will be now reviewing Barbie, the actual movie. Here's your spoiler alerts.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Prepare to be spoiled!
The movie Barbie, based on Barbie, the doll.
No kidding.
Created by Ruth Handler in 1959. That's how long Barbie's been around. It's crazy. On Rotten Tomatoes, this one's sitting at a 90% tomato meter. 8.1 out of 10. 90% audience rating. And now here's where things get fun. This movie was made for $145 million. More than Oppenheimer. Yeah. They projected that this movie, we were talking about what movie's going to crack 100 million, what movie's going to crack 100 million. And then in the last few weeks, they were projecting, Barbie could be the first one in a long time to crack 100, 110 million, maybe. Opening weekend, the adjusted numbers from today, it makes domestic opening weekend $162 million fucking dollars.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
162 worldwide is sitting at 356. Here's what this means. It broke a bunch of records. This is the biggest opening weekend ever for a film directed by a female, by a woman, beating out Captain Marvel, which was co-directed by a woman, and Wonder Woman, directed by Patty Jenkins. This is the biggest opening of the year, beating out Super Mario Brothers movie. This is the biggest opening for a movie ever based on a toy. This is the biggest opening ever for Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. This is the biggest opening weekend for a movie that isn't a sequel, remake, or superhero movie.
Oh, shit.
Also, because of the Barbenheimer effect, this entire weekend box office comes in as the fourth biggest weekend box office of all time.
Wow.
The last three times that happened had to do with Infinity War, Endgame, and The Force Awakens. And they do it with Barbie and Oppenheimer. It's crazy. Crazy numbers. Amazing. And you saw it everywhere. Of course, this movie, directed by Greta Gerwig, written by Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach. And now we just talked about how Oppenheimer had a crazy cast. This movie also similarly has a crazy cast in a completely different way. Of course, you got Margot Robbie as Barbie, Ryan Gosling as Ken, a Ken. There's a lot of Kens. There's a lot of Barbies. They are played by Issa Rae, Kate McKinnon, Alexandra Shipp, Dua Lipa, quick cameo. You got Kingsley Ben-Adir, Malcolm X, Gravik, and Bob Marley soon playing a Ken. Simu Liu as another Ken. John Cena as a mermaid Ken. Lots of crazy cameos.
But Michael Cera as Alan.
Michael Cera as Alan. Will Ferrell as the CEO of Mattel. Alan is hilarious. I had no idea there was just one of Alan. Emerald Fennell is in this. There's just so many people. It's a great, crazy cast.
Another great cast.
This is also produced by Warner Brothers and Mattel and Margot Robbie. And we already mentioned, they put this up to fuck with Oppenheimer. Help them both. Nice 2-hour runtime, which seemed totally refreshing after the Oppenheimer. Even though it's still 2 hours.
Breeze.
Right? No problem. Anthony, what happens in Barbie? We finally get this movie. What is it?
First off, I'll have to say with those numbers, I have to eat some crow because I was going, who is this movie for?
Right. We'll answer that question.
The marketing worked because it was for everyone.
Everybody.
Everyone decided to see it.
Well, yeah, it was the marketing. The marketing worked. I don't know who was it for. That question is still.
We'll talk about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. But in terms of who did it appeal to in terms of the marketing, everyone came out and saw it.
Right.
Okay. What is this movie about? This movie is about this dreamland this reality where Barbie exists in a Barbie world.
Barbie land.
And there's the real world and there's a Barbie world, and Margot Robbie plays stereotypical Barbie, and all of a sudden she starts to have thoughts and build cellulite and get into a place where she's not perfect anymore. And she has to journey into the real world to figure out what the hell is going on. And by journeying into the real world, it further screws up Barbie world. And it's about that.
You got to fix things.
Making that all right.
Yeah, fixing things. Crazy, fun premise.
Yep.
Any theater experience additional outside of, I saw there was people wearing pink. There was like a pink Mustang in the theater, in the parking lot of my theater. Like, Matt, somebody spray painted it pink.
I'll tell you about my theater experience.
And then I'll close it out.
Okay.
I went to a packed theater experience. There was a lot of kids in the theater. And about 40 minutes into the movie, every kid had to go to the bathroom. Every kid was walking around. Every kid was making noise.
I'll tell you who this movie isn't for. It's fucking little kids. They're going to be bored.
Don't bring your fucking kids.
No, it's not a kids movie.
Yeah. It's not a little kids movie. Absolutely.
That is a very good point. This movie, while about a doll, this is not a kids movie. Don't do that.
There's a lot of talking about shit that they don't understand.
100%.
Go over there.
As far as my movie experience, I went on a Sunday night at 7:00 by a theater close to my mom's house, which is a theater that I know I can always get a ticket for. It's never fucking sold out. I walk into the theater and there's a line to the box office. I went, oh, fuck.
Wow.
And, I mean, this movie rose everything. People were in line to see Dial of Destiny, Sound of Freedom, Barbie, Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Sound of Freedom, by the way, has just become some sort of weird phenomenon, too. But that's an aside.
That's a whole different thing, yes.
That's an aside. Of my theater, I mean, I had to sit in the fourth row. It was all the back rows were packed. Not ironically, but kind of luckily, because I was that close, I didn't have to deal with a lot of bullshit.
Oh,
because everyone that was either getting up or laughing obnoxiously was 30 rows behind me.
Yeah. Okay.
So actually, I ended up preferring sitting where I was at. But another packed theater at a theater that like no one goes to on a Sunday night with people wearing pink. And when you got out in the lobby, girls, middle-aged women, all sorts of freaking people out in the lobby wearing pink, catching other showings.
It wasn't just women. Like, there was dudes wearing pink. Everybody was embracing this. It was crazy.
I walked and there was 4 dudes with pink hoodies watching the movie, and they couldn't have looked more stereotypically heterosexual.
Yeah.
I will tell you who had the best time at this movie.
Yeah.
50-year-old women.
Sure. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And there was about like 4 like 50-year-old women sitting in front of me.
Yeah.
They knew every reference.
Oh my God, they were huge Barbie fans.
They were Barbie. Yeah. I think they loved Barbie when they were kids. Yeah. Their daughters loved Barbie when they were.
That's the perfect audience for this. Yeah.
And they fucking got every fucking inside joke.
Yeah, there was a lot of Easter
loved
eggs.
it.
Yeah.
They were loving it for a while. And then after a while, I felt like that they were uncomfortable for a while. And then by the end, they got back into the fold. But like, yeah, I think like they were going to get the biggest. Who's this movie for? Them.
Well, them and some other people. So again, the theater experience, this whole weekend was wild. I saw Oppenheimer on Thursday. Everything was packed. I see Barbie last minute, Sunday, like at noon. It's fucking packed theater. Every theater. Like there's 6 theaters showing Barbie. There's people everywhere. All packed. I was like, I've never seen the theater like this. It was amazing. And it was a lot of fun.
Experience.
It was an experience. I'm glad you made us do this, Anthony, that we could experience Barbenheimer once in a lifetime. And so I'll start with my opening thoughts. First of all, of course, amazing marketing helped the thing. But at the end of this, I had so much fun. I thought this movie is so clever and really funny, imaginative. It's both satire and social commentary. at the same time. Delightful visuals, delightful set. It's self-aware in the right way. I was like, this is like Willy Wonka meets Toy Story meets The Truman Show meets like Clueless meets Legally Blonde and a bunch of other things. And I was surprised at how actually legitimately funny and refreshing and kind of fun it was. Like, I had a great time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Ruggs, what'd you think coming out of it?
I can agree with you on a lot of those points. I feel like when they were sending up Barbie in and of itself, it was really brilliant. When they were just like doing, like, for example, when they did the 2001: A Space Odyssey, and then they do the Monty Python, them walking, riding horses
there's a lot
on
of
their own.
a lot of references in this movie.
I'm like, they're using a lot of jokes from like Toy Story too. And I'm like, okay, we've seen all this before. Like, why are we clever because we're incorporating all these old jokes into this? So, like, for example, like any toy that you have, if you give them a drink of something, they're not going to drink anything. That's not intrinsic to Barbie.
Okay.
But the fact that they have a pool and they can't go in the water is intrinsic to Barbie.
Solid.
So there's certain things that were brilliant because they dug them up about the particular toy. And like when they weren't going into the Weird Barbie's great because everybody knows about Weird Barbie.
I love Weird Barbie. Like you play.
And then when you go to Weird Barbie's place and there's the dog shitting on the thing, there's an actual fucking dog that shits pellets like
that's
that.
a toy.
And it's a great call out. Like there's some really Barbie centric humor.
Yeah.
And that nails it. But when it goes like off the rails and it starts pulling jokes from other movies, I feel like, we've seen that before. Not that creative. I can't really give you the pat on the back for that. But overall, I think the movie had something to it and it lost it somewhere along the path. Yeah. Okay. I really think that the message was all over the place. I really think that the movie was all over the place. And I didn't know, like, okay, for example, you have this Barbie world, right? And then you have the real world.
Right.
But the real world, like Will Ferrell is a cartoon. So the real world's not really the real world.
It's an exaggerated.
And then everything's exaggerated. Yeah. And so you don't know, like, you can't take any of it. So then when you start trying to make a point, you're like, well, yeah, you're telling a story of a world that doesn't really exist. So like, you're making two fake worlds now. And like, what is the juxtaposition there?
It's its own.
So I felt like they failed on that end. So, and then at the end of the movie, Barbie decides to go to that world that's oppressive.
Yeah.
And hang out there because she has a vagina. I mean, that's the end of the day. That's what the story.
Though. It's, the whole.
But so I don't understand what the totality of the movie is. It doesn't work. But those individual comedic moments, those clever observations about the toys, those ideas that, like they had the best intentions with Barbie and still there's some fucking teenager who's going to sit there and like try and observe it through the modern lens.
Yeah.
And like critique Barbie. Like we grew up with G.I. Joe and He-Man. Did like He-Man give you body issues?
Well,
like,
but it's different with girls.
It's
man.
weird.
It's different with girls. Barbie is a contradiction in herself, and I thought they did handle that kind of well.
I'll just say that it is interesting that the movie took a swing, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's made by Mattel, yet they're questioning everything that brand stood for and what it means and what it's really done to girls. So I thought that was an interesting swing. I would agree with you, Ruggs. I don't know that it fully landed on what message it was really giving. I think the message that they were trying to say is that Barbie had the best intent, and it's given because that montage at the end with all the old footage,
right?
I'm not I don't obviously I've never really played with. Obviously, I guess I could have played with Barbie. I had them fuck a lot, but I guess
but you play with toys. You play with toys.
But I guess the
Barbie
intent
is a toy at the end of the day.
Yeah,
right?
I guess the intent was. It's regardless of it's been a part of history and it's made a lot of girls happy. Has it been made every girl happy and has it been the best thing? No, but it's been the cause of happiness for a lot of people. As far as my thoughts. I'll say it like this. I had a great time at the movie, first and foremost. I laughed a lot.
It was funny.
It was really fun.
Yeah, it was fucking funny.
Yeah.
It was not what I was expecting, in terms of a more of a mature, in a way, message and audience. Very clever, jokes that kids aren't going to understand. All that stuff was great. The Ken stuff I thought was really funny. I just had a really good time with the movie. That being said, I did watch some stuff prior, so I was prepped for this kind of feminist agenda in the movie.
Yeah.
And I can certainly see that. If
that speech that America, it reminded me of the She-Hulk speech.
Yeah, and the movie, the movie goes out of the way. And again, it's told in a jokey fashion, so it depends how serious you want to take it. But the movie goes out of the way to just basically tell you that there's nothing redeeming about men.
Well, you want to know something that mystifies me? So you got this movie, and it's about a doll that generations have grown up around. Mothers have enjoyed this with their kids. They try to do a mother-daughter story in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to kind of gloss over what motherhood actually is. Right? Mm-hmm. So biologically, right, a woman, is incapacitated by having a kid, right? They need to take time off from work. They need to now not think about themselves and put something else in the forefront. And they need to maybe have a husband or someone else to help them care, or some kind of family unit to help support them in this endeavor, because it's hard to do on your own. And that's probably the reason, more than just evil men, that have this huge responsibility that women have, and the fact that the entire human race can't exist without them. They gloss over all of that. They're just like, oh, it sucks to have a vagina, and that's it. And there's no nuance to it. And, they don't, even in the mother-daughter relationship, they don't get into it.
It is a little heavy-handed, right? At the end.
So,
you go ahead, finish.
So the reason why I'm pointing that out is because you can only do that if you're look over here, not over here. You have this point of view that you're trying to say, men are evil, and if men ever get the idea that they could have power, but there's not a biological element to it. There's not a responsibility that's ingrained in growing someone inside of you, and I don't know. I just feel like that's not an important thing. If you're going to make a movie about mothers and daughters and stuff like that, you just completely overlook that, and you just move right past that to there's just an evil force, and it's Will Ferrell.
Well, to add to that, if you take the movie at what it's portraying on screen, when they go to the real world, everyone is oogling her. Yeah. You have a dude come up and slap her in the ass.
Yeah. That's not reality.
You have Ken going to different corporations asking for jobs and the guy responding, "We're just doing the patriarchy, but we're doing it more behind the scenes." And so the movie hates on men throughout the entire movie. The Kens come back, learn about this. They subordinate all the women who are supposedly the smartest women in the world, but yet they're easily conned by the men. Mm-hmm. That's
because the story needs them to do it. So
right. So then that all happens, and then obviously the Barbies win, and you would think, well, not you would think, but I think the message that could have came out was at the end, the Barbies realize that, hey, men and women, there's a give and take, and there needs to be, there's positives and benefits of both, and it's a working relationship. So maybe instead of Barbie Land being ruled by women, it's a joint kind of thing, and that's what we should do in the real world. Yeah. But instead, the message is, no, the Barbies are in charge. Y'all can have
one
power, but it's going to be below us, right? So it was a really strange message, and the only thing I can say, and then I'll get off of it, is if this was reversed, women would be up in arms. But it seems to be okay because it's happening to men and it's a comedy.
Right.
That being said, I wanted to point that out. That being said, I mean, I don't give a fuck. I didn't have a problem with it. I just thought it was an interesting thing.
No, but you I don't care. Like I thought
it doesn't threaten my manhood, but it's an interesting thing to point.
I smirked at it, but like if you're gonna you're doing an analysis of a movie,
right?
And you're asking, okay, does this make logical sense, or does it even make emotional sense to like gloss over all these things to make your point? Then you start seeing like it's kind of like a straw man point, but. At the end of the movie, Barbie decides to go into the patriarchy.
Right.
Like, so I don't know. I'm mystified to what the point was. And even you have the creator of Barbie, Ruth Handler, say, like, the patriarchy is just something that we made up to make us feel better about ourselves. So even the creator of Barbie doesn't agree with this idea.
Right.
And by proxy of Greta Gerwig is now, co-signing on that. By putting that character to say that, or Noah Baumbach, or whoever wrote that line.
Yeah.
So it is a movie that, yes, you could say it has this feminist agenda, but then there's also things that subvert that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I don't know what the movie is. I just know that it's funny and fun, and Margot Robbie's good to look at, and so is Ryan Gosling. His abs painted on, looks amazing. And I love the musical scenes. I love him. I mean, no guy would ever sing "I Want to Push You Around" to a girl.
Yeah,
but it's funny for the movie.
Was hilarious.
But it's funny for the movie. Yeah. That's not what a guy would sing to a girl unless you're written by this movie. But like, yes, it's funny. It's funny in a lot of ways. I'm gonna play my guitar at you. Yeah, that's funny.
Like, come over, play my guitar at you. Yeah,
yeah.
I'll beat you off.
The beach off was, I mean, there's a lot of funny lines. Wait, let's get back to like, this is how I felt ultimately about like this whole, how they dealt with toxic masculinity and the speech she gives, right? About what it means to be a woman. It's a little America Ferrara. Yeah, Gloria.
Oh, it's super heavy-handed.
So, yes, it is super heavy-handed. However, at the same time, I felt all these things. I was like, wow, this is really great for me as a dude to hear this, to hear what women think, right? I also thought, wow.
Also, the woman, sorry to interrupt, the women in my crowd were eating it. Like, they were loving it.
That's the other best thing. She is talking directly to how many women feel like this? All of them. She is talking directly to that. And yes, the men are made as kind of the villains, but how many movies do we have where there's a girl bimbo and all the guys are in charge?
100%.
I loved this female point of view, strong woman perspective on this. I thought it was great. There's nothing wrong with it. And I think it's great that it's out there. And I was like, every woman should see this movie. And like, also every man should see this movie.
I agree.
Real quick. The discussion we're having, the fact that we're having this discussion off the movie, I think is in a way a good thing, because who the fuck knew that a Barbie movie would prompt us to have a discussion like this, right?
Brilliant.
Well, only if you make it like this.
Right. Only if you make it, but the movie does make it like this.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It would be like if we just reviewed this movie and we were like, it was fucking funny and the sound was great and the costume design, and we ignored it, we'd be doing a disservice to what the movie's actually trying to fucking tell us.
What is it trying to tell you, Anthony?
I am with you. I don't know what it's. I mean, I think there is a very strong.
It's hard being a
anti-male.
woman.
So, like, being a woman is bad, but being a guy is also hard. Being one, like, I know that it's also difficult. Like, the whole idea of masculinity, what the fuck is that? Like, no one knows. So it's like you can make the argument for both, and I don't think that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have a movie that communicates it. And I applaud that they did that. But I also think that, there could be as I said, you have this, the whole entire premise of this movie, right, is that Barbie exists and Ken is just an accessory. And then when Ken learns about the real world,
patriarchy is hilarious.
Like, he wants to bring it into Barbie land because he feels like undervalued and he feels like nothing. So it's like a play on, okay, now you know what women feel like. And so I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, the switch is great.
That's great. Yeah, that's like, there's a lot of brilliance to go around in this movie.
And then Ken at the end has got to find who he is. And then he's like, I'm just Ken. I'm Ken. So he has a kind of an arc.
Both of them. So Ken has that arc, but then Barbie has always thought that she was a positive light
Right.
And she never knew anything different.
Right.
And then she goes to the real world and goes, oh, there's a lot more nuance to what my real impact was.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of great that it's got all these levels. It's got a comedic level.
Yeah,
It does. Yeah.
But like, in a way, like I feel like, okay, the fact that it doesn't stay on that comedic level for the whole movie, and then it dips into this weird ass level. It would have been even more brilliant if it stayed on that comedic level and then it had this subtext underneath and we could talk about. But then they heavy handedly put all this stuff in there. Now we're forced to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can't get around it.
Yeah, you can't have a real discussion without it.
Yeah,
I agree with you, Ruggs. I think the movie tried to tackle a bunch of different things, and in that sense, I think they took a home run swing.
Yeah.
I don't know that I agree. I don't know that it completely lands.
I mean, it's ballsy. I can't take that away from Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach.
But it's fucking entertaining.
Yeah, it's an interesting film to say the least. I was entertained. I scratched my head, which is, maybe that's the sign of a good movie sometimes when you do that. But I can't say that I completely get what they were doing.
But for Greta Gerwig to want to do this and Mattel let him do that with this Barbie is wild, and I think I'm glad she.
Well, I don't think it damages Barbie in the least.
Absolutely not. No.
I think it's reinvigorated Barbie.
Yeah.
It's like you're taking Barbie and saying, "Look, we tried to do something good, and it didn't work out. We tried to make girls believe that they could do anything, and they can do anything. They really can."
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that they want to do everything.
Well, that's the contradiction of Barbie, right? She showed girls they could be whatever they want.
Well, I mean, that's the contradiction of the first scene, right? Is, these little girls are playing with babies, and playing with babies and motherhood is not something to be celebrated.
Oh,
we need Barbie.
Yeah, to say.
And then you later on in the movie reference, we had the pregnant Barbie, but that's discontinued because we don't want to celebrate that.
The discontinued dolls were great. That was so funny.
But I mean, it is kind of beautiful in the way that we're talking about.
It really is. Like it's
a fucking Barbie
deep.
movie.
Okay, wait. Let's talk about some shit that I love because it was hilarious. I love that line where she's like, "I have no vagina," and he doesn't have a penis. So Alan,
when they're in the real world,
within the real world, the fact that there's only one Alan and he just wants to get the fuck out of there is hilarious.
The Alan when he's like, when I learned to build this wall sideways.
So he's just building it up
that's
one
He's building it straight up.
Like I built a wall. I love there was a Justice League, Zack Snyder Justice League joke.
Oh yeah.
There was a Photoshop
But that's
joke.
that's a anti-male. They're like, that's a very fucking like toxic masculinity type.
That was
what they're going
great.
for.
The Photoshop joke also, I was like, oh my God, he's using Photoshop terms. The fourth wall breaks. My favorite is like Helen Mirren narrating. We forgot Helen Mirren narrating. And the part where she breaks in where Barbie's like, I'm not pretty or I don't feel special. And she's like, note, Margot Robbie is not someone you want to cast when you're trying to make this point. But Margot Robbie, it's so perfect for this role. They wanted originally like Amy Schumer and then Anne.
She doesn't know what Barbie goes through.
And then Anne Hathaway was briefly attached before.
Amy Schumer would have been a
different movie.
I would say this movie's pretty woke on the woke scale. Yeah. But if you cast Amy Schumer as Barbie, that you would just be so far on the woke scale.
Zero people would have went to see that movie.
Margot Robbie is the perfect.
She is so
cast.
perfect for this. She embodies it. But Ryan Gosling steals every fucking scene.
I feel like that it was his movie in the last hour.
Kind of was.
It was. What does he call it? Casa.
Oh shit! It was called Dojo Casa something.
Dojo Mojo Casa House.
Yeah, Dojo Mojo. Yeah. She's like, actually, Dojo is redundant, and so is Casa. So is House. And then they started selling them in the real world. I love at the end he has a I Am Knuff sweatshirt. Apparently, you can buy that shirt now. But fuck the set design, the colors, the song.
It's gonna win. I mean, for set design and costume, this is another Oscar type movie in that sense. Technically. There's a lot going on there. There's really
so many Easter eggs. This one is rewatchable. Like I want to go see it again. I want to bring like my mom and my wife and my sister. I was like, you guys need to see this movie. It's fucking delightful.
When I put on my Instagram that I'd seen, first off, people were confused because I put on my Instagram Friday of myself posing in a Barbie doll, life-size Barbie doll box.
Yeah,
and I had guys message me going, "How's the movie?" Like as like genuinely curious if that movie like. This this has hit everybody.
Yeah.
This whole thing, this whole weekend has hit everybody. But yeah, I'm with you, Imran. I mean, there was a lot of I couldn't write them down, obviously, but there were a lot of moments where I was going, "That's clever. That was funny. This is making me laugh." The fact that Ryan Gosling's character, he's like, all I do is beach.
Yes,
I just
that's
beach.
my job. Beach.
You lifeguard?
Yeah,
no, I just beach.
It's not even lifeguard. It's beach. They don't need beach here.
What did you guys think of Will Ferrell in the movie?
He was fine. He was Will Ferrell.
I think they overused him. They overused him. He didn't need to be in the movie.
He was doing the Will Ferrell thing. He made me laugh. He was completely ridiculous and just being Will Ferrell.
I saw a review that basically said Will Ferrell's Will Ferrell, but because they had Will Ferrell in the movie, they kept cutting to the real world.
Yeah.
And the best parts of the movie are when they're in Barbie.
When they're in Barbie
They kept
Land,
using the real world stuff.
I think that, look, Will Ferrell is always a net positive, right? Like, he always is funny. But if you're making a movie and you're cutting back to Will Ferrell for no other reason than to have the Will Ferrell in the movie, then you don't need to do that.
I like when he's chasing her and he tries to jump over the cube and he can't get over the cube. He's like, it'll be faster if I jump over.
And he has his own song. And I mean, the references, like you saw, like 2001 opening, there's a little West Side Story when they're fighting, when the Kens are fighting, which is also
Do you
hilarious.
think at Mattel there's only men working there?
No. I don't think that's true.
That's not, it's ingenuine.
Yeah.
They did that. Yeah.
Did you know how he has this fur coat? Do you know what that's a reference to? That mink coat? You don't know, Ruggs?
Is that
It's your boy?
Is that,
It's your boy, Ruggs?
Don King?
No, Stallone. Remember in the 70s?
in Rocky 2?
Well, in the 70s, Stallone apparently loved mink coats, fur coats, and would wear them everywhere.
He wears one in Rocky 2.
I think that was the reference to that. When they were playing volleyball, it's a little Top Gun. They mentioned The Shining. I mean, it's like so many things. Wizard of Oz, My Fair Lady, Saturday Night Fever opening dance number was a direct inspiration to that opening dance number. So many The Godfather is mentioned. Grease is in there. Monty Python's in there, like you said. I love that you pulled all these references. I just thought it was such a delightful movie. Here's the question: do you think more Mattel toy-based movies are coming? I think this thing could hit $1 billion. If Captain Marvel opened to 153 and made $1 billion,
I don't think every movie should be an existential exploration of fucking like. I'm sure that there's a lot of kids that went into this movie just wanted to have fun with Barbie, and they did not. And a lot of people wanted to go to this movie and have fun with Barbie, and I think there's enough references to satisfy those people. But I don't think every Mattel movie should be based on this.
Well, I heard they're working on J.J. Abrams produced Hot Wheels movie. Vin Diesel is tied to like a Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie. Mattel is gonna milk all this shit.
Here's the crazier one. Daniel Kaluuya is attached to a mature Barney movie.
What the fuck? They're gonna make Barney all done. Who do you get? Scorsese to direct this? Making a fucking Barney a hitman? That would be amazing. Played by Daniel Kaluuya.
I mean, this is the type of thing that is good and bad, right? Like, this is a extremely original thing that they did with an IP that's been around forever. Yeah. If they can continue to make like clever things like this, I think there's a good thing, but they won't. They're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to capture the magic with a Barney, Hot Wheels, American Girl.
No.
Oh yeah,
Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
American Girls.
Uno. There's an Uno on here.
Everything. And I mean, they're probably going to want to make a sequel, and I feel like the sequels are just going to make this worse. Like, I don't even.
They should never make a sequel.
I don't think they should make a sequel. It ends perfectly. She goes. She's human. Story resolves. She moves on. She's.
I for what it's worth, I enjoy the Barbie World remix that they have going on at the end with Nicki Minaj.
Oh yeah, the I'm a Barbie
Ice
girl.
Spice, or not Spice. I forget what the fuck the other girl's name is.
Space Ice.
That's a YouTube channel. Even the end bit where they're building up to like you think she's getting a job or a big break and she's going to see her gynecologist. Like that's a funny joke to end on.
Did the emotional parts land? Because at the end, when she's crying and sees the impact that Barbie's had on little girls.
I'll tell you
the
the part that got me, and it was a great little scene. And actually, they wanted.
So it's not that scene.
It's not that one. They wanted Greta Gerwig to cut the scene. It's just when she goes to the real world and she's looking around, and she sees that old lady on the park bench.
Oh, she says she's beautiful.
And she just goes, "You're beautiful," crying. And the old lady's like, "I know." That's apparently some costume designer, Oscar-winning costume designer. But they wanted her to cut out that scene, and she's like, "No. Like, what is this? What am I making this for if I can't have that?" And I love that little moment. It was perfectly Margot Robbie's great performance in that.
I think that Billie Eilish song with the footage from home videos, like that's powerful stuff.
Yeah, and that's actually footage from the cast, like old home videos of cast
that
members.
hit for me, and I didn't know what it was hitting on, but I was just like, this, whatever this scene is well made. I don't know what the message is, but
because it's Toy Story. It's Toy Story. It's like
that's why it works.
It's like your youth, and the song is like, "What am I made for?"
Yeah,
right. You're absolutely right. Actually,
and so,
Toy Story does that nostalgia effect.
There's like these two things crossing over at the same time. There's, Barbie, what am I made for? And then there's like, okay, this is what you're made for.
Yeah.
This is why you exist, is to make people happy and people have someone to play with. And I think that outweighs the bad.
Just mothers and daughters.
You've actually hit it on the nail on the head. So thank you for encapsulating that. It is the childlike. It is the flashback to being a child, and that's something you would never, you don't really get anymore.
One of the things that I when it comes into Barbie, you look at psychology, right?
Yeah.
So if you put a bunch of dolls out there, like a kid who doesn't know anything is going to gravitate towards what they think is going to be the most welcoming to them, or like whatever. So they always kind of gravitate towards a certain standard that's ingrained in people.
Mm-hmm.
And Barbie shouldn't be like feel bad because people gravitated towards that doll. Like, just because you make a doll doesn't mean people are going to like it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you market something doesn't mean people are going to like it. You can try and make something happen till the end of the day, and it might not ever happen because people just don't respond to it. So Barbie shouldn't feel bad that it was popular. Barbie shouldn't feel bad that kids played with Barbie. Like, the fact that people are now looking at Barbie and deconstructing Barbie and looking at it as some negative thing, that's like not on Barbie.
But they've evolved with the times too. They've tried, to their credit,
of course,
to make,
like when they said in the movie, "Can you make a regular girl Barbie?"
I actually love that. I thought that was great. It was really funny.
No, but that's been out for
been out,
years.
yeah. And then she's like, "Ordinary Barbie," and Will Ferrell's like, "That's a terrible idea." The guy's like, "It's going to make tons of cash." He's like, "Genius. That's brilliant. Let's do it."
Oh, and doesn't he say it's already selling or whatever?
Oh, yeah, probably. I think so.
It's like, it just sold. I mean, it confirms, like, oh, this is actually selling.
Ordinary Barbie was a great idea.
Well, that when they made the Ken thing, they were selling it automatically. Remember when Ken made the dojo? Dojo.
Because of Dojo Casa House.
Yeah.
That's fucking fantastic. And man, this thing, it's probably gonna make tons of money. It's fucking great. Okay, let's give this one a number there, Anthony. Final thoughts? What number will you give it?
Yeah, final thoughts. I mean, it's similar to not similar to Oppenheimer, but I think it's a good thing that these two movies came out, regardless of the level of perfection that they're trying to achieve. Neither are perfect. One could argue Oppenheimer is probably a better movie, but this is a more entertaining movie.
Yeah.
But regardless, I think this is showing, you throw these movies along with Mission Impossible, this is showing the world that there are movies out there besides superhero movies, and people want to see different things, and people will come out and see some different things, and people will come out and see things that are a big swing with both of these movies, right? So Oppenheimer being a 3-hour talkie biopic, and this one being potentially a subvert your expectations commentary on Barbie's impact on the world while also spreading a female empowerment message.
That's deep.
I don't know that it all lands, but I was damn entertained. And with that, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. If it would have landed the message, I think I would have given it a 9. And if it didn't hate men so much, I would have given it a 10. But I'm not one of those that's going to go, man, this it hates men and it's challenging my manhood. Like, I don't give a fuck. It's fine. There's plenty of movies where women are portrayed as bimbos, and it's fine. It's ironic that they can do this now, and if it was flipped, people would get pissed, but I digress.
Okay, 8 out of 10. Bruggs, what number are you going to give it?
Is it a good time? Absolutely. Is it, does it make sense? No, it does not. Is it for kids? No, absolutely not. Anybody who doesn't have pubes should not be watching this movie. Is it entertaining? It's 7.5, even an 8, entertainment wise. If you have the brevity to go, or not brevity, the balls to go see it, or the vagina to go see it, go see it. It's actually fun. So check it out.
I think it's both for people who have balls and a vagina. But man, I was really, really surprised at how much I enjoyed this movie, and on sheer entertainment factor alone, I'm gonna give it a 9. I'm gonna give it a 9. I thought it was fucking clever and brilliant. But like you said, Anthony, I feel like we saw 3 great movies in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, it's
crazy that it's like this.
It's been a pleasure for the first time in a while going to a movie theater and watching good shit.
Superheroes.
Not only good shit, but different shit.
Yeah.
And I'm the biggest Marvel fan there is and superhero
What
fan.
is happening?
It's nice to see, you have McQuarrie, you have McQuarrie, you have Nolan, you have now Greta Gerwig, who's an up and coming. I've seen some of Greta Gerwig stuff. She's great. Yeah. But you have directors directing movies that they want to direct with big name stars, and it's not superhero movies. And it's fucking different. And if you want to throw in, it wasn't released. I wish it was. But if you want to throw in Extraction 2, like you have a whole dichotomy of different kind of shit that's out there that's fucking good.
Not a reboot, not a remake, not a superhero movie.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So we'll see. And
so, we're in a shit place.
Is this the beginning of like maybe a turnaround and like
not with the
people
strike
making,
though? That's the thing. It's weird
that's
that
what
this is happening.
Say. So I think this would all be a good starting point for a turnaround. But perhaps these things that are coming out plus the strike leads to this inflection point that we were discussing, and you've hinted at too, Ruggs, that potentially changes the direction of cinema in a much better way for everybody.
And then on the other way, it is an argument for the writers and actors. Look how much money you did. Look how much you need writers and actors to come up with some original shit here.
Now, should we hope for a other side of the coin movie to come out, like a He-Man movie?
Oh, that He-Man movie is dead. They're not doing that. That's also Hasbro. They've killed that movie.
Oh, it's gone?
Yeah,
they killed it?
Oh,
that
Netflix
makes sense.
killed the He-Man. It's not happening.
Well, I think women would argue we've been getting these kind of other side of the coin movies forever.
Yeah, so it's about good.
But
I think Fight Club was good enough. Yeah.
I think Commando was good enough for me.
All right, let's find out what the listeners thought. News from the nation. It's time for news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation. I missed that.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
That's good. Anthony had some weird interpretations a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
I hear like he was dying.
Yeah, it looked like you were just choking on
He
blood.
was throwing up and shitting himself.
Choking on blood or something.
It was coming out of both ends. What can I tell you?
It was an emergency. Blake Braden. So I did post the spoiler thread for Barbie late. Didn't get a lot of comments. I got one, but this is about Oppenheimer. Blake Braden says, big bomb go boom. But he did say this. He said, apparently during COVID, people forgot about their theater decorum or just not being creepy. And he posts a Twitter tweet that's now X from @JJalen saying, some guy in my theater, dead ass, took out his phone and took a picture with his flash on for one of Florence Pugh's scenes in Oppenheimer. He wanted to capture those boobies for later, I guess. But yeah, wow, that's amazing. He also put in that line. So the whole thing about it was kind of a great little thing where Strauss thought Oppenheimer said some shit to Albert Einstein. And you were waiting for what that is, kind of like a Citizen Kane Rosebud moment. What did he actually say? What Oppenheimer says to him is, when I came to you with those calculations, we thought we might start a chain reaction that would destroy the entire world. And Albert says, I remember well, what of it? And then he just says, I believe we did. And then that was it. And he is haunting. And that is haunting. That they had that conversation. It's great. I don't know if it's real or if they wrote that, but it's good writing.
No, it's the same conversation that Elon and Zuck are having.
Oh, absolutely.
Right now.
we figured out a way to destroy the world. We did it. Ron Hans has said, was the music really loud at random parts for you all? Overall, really good movie. RDJ killed it.
Yes.
You noticed that, didn't you?
I noticed. It's. I don't know what's going on with Nolan in the sound.
At least nobody had a mask on while they were talking in this fucking movie. Which he has it like every fucking
You can
movie.
lip read a little
Yes,
bit.
you can see their mouths. Instead of,
I mean, this has been a thing now with Tenet and Dark Knight Rises. It's like, what is going on? Why can't you capture the audio?
He's got
that
too much fucking pride to fucking listen to this shit.
Oh, no. Yeah, of course.
He's like, do you know who I am? How dare you sit in my set?
I saved the cinema. John Bellotti Jr. says, very good movie, the kind of movies they used to make. So he liked it.
Right.
And then
Like movies, yeah.
one comment from Jamie Robinson, Mr. Throwback Thursday from Mr. Throwback Thursday podcast about Barbie comments. I, too, lost interest in the patriarchy when I found out it wasn't about horses. That was a really funny line from Ken at the end. It's like, everybody's like, we did the patriarchy. We just did it better. This is flexing. So fucking funny. Like, just brilliant. It was brilliant. Okay.
I always loved when Weird Barbie was on screen and she'd just pop up and then Barbie would just call her ugly to her face.
She's like, I'm sorry. But the fact that she was in the splits, because that doll was always just
splits.
left wide open and thrown in the box.
Everyone, even boys,
They
have
forgot to go
experienced
into
the Weird
Naked Barbie, though. Naked Barbie is like a huge thing. There was always Naked Barbie.
Naked drawn.
There was always a Naked Barbie because the clothes would somehow get lost, and a lot of times it was the boys playing.
Margot Robbie naked with plastic over her nipples to it look like that.
so
She has,
Like it was plastic. I
Yeah,
thought
that
they
would've
were
been
going to
great.
show like a smooth frontal thing with the Kens.
I don't think PG-13.
But there's nothing. But why? You're not showing anything. I thought they would almost go there and show you the smooth.
Yeah, like
front.
they have like panties on them now.
Oh, they do. The
Yeah, the
dolls.
skin, like this.
Oh my god.
All of my Barbies do.
But just the detail of like her face was drawn on. Like you absolutely did that. You absolutely drew on these dolls' faces. It's frightening. Like
Weird
it was like
Barbie.
Toy Story. It's Toy Story.
Well, that was Greta Gerwig playing Weird Barbie, wasn't it?
No,
or
that's Kate McKinnon from Saturday Night
Kate
Live.
McKinnon.
Kate
That's right.
McKinnon.
Okay.
Yeah, she's hilarious. Really funny. Okay, let's finish up with some What Are We Watching? So next week, everyone, Secret Invasion will be done. We will have a review of the whole season. Ruggs, you haven't caught up on any of it?
No.
Okay, well, we'll just wait till next week. Anthony, any comments?
You could talk about it if you want.
On
I'll just go
episode
away.
5, I don't know. This show better wrap up good.
Yeah, I mean,
It doesn't
it's
seem
just
like
a
you're
tired.
enthused
It's just,
about it.
No.
it's just a very tired. I mean, there's just no energy in this show. But we'll see what happens in the last episode. But yeah, I mean, the continued downfall of Marvel is happening. I mean, this isn't doing anything. To
It's a
change it,
slog,
that's for-
even with Samuel L. Jackson.
It's just
in
like
it.
a really slow pace.
It's just there's just no energy to any of this.
I mean, the most exciting thing that happened in the last episode was him fucking suiting up in his coat and his eye patch, right? Really? This is the big climax. He's back.
I mean, there was like a big reveal there, and
Yeah.
and he's kind of doing a Batman thing that you'll.
Oh, and Gravik kind of loses his shit a little bit, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, there's just we'll see what happens, but
Call someone. Who did he call?
not the best.
I feel like I don't even want to watch it. Can I just not watch
you
it?
have to watch this. We need to know. You need to rant on it.
No,
Hopefully, I don't know. One episode left. I don't know how it's going to end. No, again, not a lot of people talking about this shit. Still,
No, that's the worst part is even me. I used to remember making this. This was appointment television when this would come out.
Right.
These Marvel shows, I would watch them while working the next that same
Shit.
day.
You're like, I'm throwing this on.
And
now.
now I don't get to the show till Saturday, Sunday, split, whatever. We'll talk about it more in depth. As far as what are we watching,
else you got?
I haven't watched anything in terms of movies or TV shows, but I've been watching a lot of the Critical Drinker.
Oh, what's
on
that?
YouTube.
Okay, what do they do?
He's just a guy I think from Scotland that's I would say
He
he leans pretty right. And he just like hates on shit all the
Oh.
time. I mean, sometimes he likes stuff, but he hates like superhero movies.
Okay.
He hates
Critical thinker. You said.
Yeah,
Critical
he like
Drinker.
just thinks everything is woke.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a very anti-woke guy, so it's just fun listening to his opinion on shit. Like he
He's a
hated
complete
Barbie.
asshole. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a real
It's
dickhead,
Andrew
but-
Tate in disguise. What happened?
No,
No,
it's not Andrew.
he's not as bad as
Okay.
Andrew Tate.
All right.
But
it's funny. He makes good points, and I have been going back and listening to some of his deconstructions of Justice League, and they're freaking funny. And it's
the thing about the drink, the thing about Drinker and all of these other guys is like they have their mind made up before they make the video. All right, which is kind of disingenuous. But even with that said, they still make relevant points. So
and they're points that you're just not going to hear very often in mainstream media.
I think if you help, I feel like watching Drinker is fine as long as you understand that he's got his mind made up before he even watches the thing, and he's just making certain points. Every once in a while, he'll watch something. I'm like, oh, he's going to hate this, and he likes it, and then I'm like surprised that he likes something.
Yeah, there are things.
But you could say the same thing about me.
I would say you guys are similar. No, I'm just kidding. He's way more hard in terms of he's way more mean spirited for sure.
Oh, sounds fun.
But yeah, I've enjoyed, and usually I've watched him when I watched Barbie reviews. I watched him, and then I threw on Chris Stuckman immediately after because I just wanted to get the dichotomy there. And you get a good balance if you throw on
that's a good
both.
compliment. Both sides of the thing. Yeah, that's
because Chris Stuckman's very nice. Very liberal, very thoughtful in his own way, and then the Drinker is very right, very mean.
Well,
also thoughtful, but mean.
Right.
Interesting.
So
Interesting.
Nice balance there.
Ruggs, you get to watch anything else in all the craziness? Probably not.
I watched the rest of the Ultraman season 3.
Okay.
Which is on Netflix.
Okay.
Fine. There's a lot of fluff in there.
Okay.
But definitely action. 3D graphics, Ultraman story. It's kind of fun.
Okay.
But I mean, if you never watch it, it's fine too.
Okay.
It's fine for me because I like Ultraman.
Yeah. Anything else?
And they get to a cool Ultraman thing at the end. But yeah.
Bilotti.
There's like I'll give you this one little thing to tickle you. And so there's a bunch of Ultramen, right?
Yeah.
That they all team up against, a common enemy, and that's kind of cool to watch. So if you're into that team up aspect, Avengers, the best of the best, all involved, working as a team, it's pretty cool.
Ruggs, you weren't here on the show. We got to get your quick 2-minute, 3-minute thoughts on the Godzilla trailer.
Oh yeah, minus one.
-1. I think that's how it's said, right?
Something like Bilotti did a good impression.
He's better. Yeah, he has it down.
You excited for this?
I mean, there's really nothing to look at.
No.
It's up. There's a couple of images that are out there that are not in the trailer of what the actual Godzilla looks like. If you look at the ride, there's a ride that this Godzilla is based on, and it looks like a video game version of Godzilla. It's not convincing, but it's still cool because it's modeled after the classic Godzilla. I would like to see the fangs and the ears on it more prominently, but with that said, I like it way better than Shin.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be more of a Godzilla that is more animated and less of a stiff, beam spewing thing. So I'm excited. I don't know why they're going back to the origin unless they're setting up a shared universe, because you got to start at the bottom, at the beginning, to get all these other monsters out there. So it's at this point interesting to me. The stuff that has come out from Japan has been very cerebral. So you look at Singular Point or Godzilla Earth, and all of those things have been very cerebral and not very action oriented or even visceral in terms of Godzilla. It's always been about science and whatever. And then Shin Godzilla is about government bureaucracy.
Government hearings.
Yeah.
Meetings.
So I don't know which way they're going with this. I'm hoping that they just kind of follow the MonsterVerse, Godzilla versus Kong, and just let them fight at the end of the day, because if you're not going to really kill the story, Like, just give me something to fucking enjoy. And that's at the end of the day what it is. It's like a lot of the, I remember I just kind of watched a little bit of 2014 the other day. And I'm like, wow, this is a really like serious film, but it's kind of boring because it takes a long time to get to Godzilla. So they have to like always deal with that. Like, how much do you use? Is it going to be overdone? And then you have Godzilla versus Kong that gives you like tons of fucking action. You're like, no, give me it all. Let's go. So I don't know. I don't know which way they're going to go with it, but I'm intrigued. I like the design. I believe in the director. I just don't know what they're going to do at the end of the day. This could be a whole, who knows? We don't know that there's another monster involved. So at this point in time.
It's the sequel to Oppenheimer, though. That's what's great about it. Direct line. The post-war.
Look, man, like
what happened?
It could be way worse. Yeah. So we're in a good spot right now.
It looks cool. I like the time period that it's post-war Japan in the 40s. That's interesting.
-1.
That's a terrible time.
Yeah, but it's kind of confusing. +1.
Lottie explained it last week.
Divided.
Still stupid.
Divided by 2.
Not great, but, you know.
Yeah, like we're at 0. Like Godzilla 0 was much way better. It's like almost like, okay, this is
less
this
than
is the
0.
Yeah.
All right.
He's snorting coke off of.
Robert Downey Jr. Young Robert Downey Jr. Okay, that's it for this week. Ruggs, where can the people find you now?
You can find me on Twitter at Really Rug Boy.
Not Twitter anymore.
Oh, you can find me on X.
X him on X. What the fuck, Elon Musk? Just change it.
Yeah, I'll take some ecstasy.
Anyways, yes.
Feel myself
at
up.
Really Rug Boy. And
you X me.
You can find all the links in our show episode description for this episode on our website. Most important thing you can do, listener, share the show, embrace Barbenheimer, wear pink, and go see Oppenheimer. It'll be hilarious. I highly encourage that. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Andy.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
We'll beep you next time.
I fucking loved it.
Get your hand off my penis.